Good morning. I call the third session of the Maryland State Firefighters Convention to order. At this time, I'll ask Chaplain Sam Mann for the invocation.
Good morning. What a lovely day the Lord has made. Let's be glad in it. Also, the storms that rolled through last night, as they say in the Bible in many places, they do say that washes away and grows up. And that's what we'll do today. Let us pray. Oh Lord, we come together in this place to do business, learn, and present awards. Give us blessings, guidance, and wisdom today. Thank you for yesterday. Thank you for today. And also, let us go forth tomorrow and grow in your grace and your love. And we do this in your name. Amen.
We now have a safety message by Chairman Black.
Good morning, everyone. As you see, it's not raining last night, or it rained last night. It's not at the moment. So I think that the messages I was given to the chaplains help, because it's going to be held off until after lunch, the way it appears. Next thing is that today in history, those of us who are old enough that did typewriters, JJJ, KKK, and all that good stuff, the first patent on the typewriter was today in 18-something. I don't know what it was, but I'm that factual guy. But a safety message for today, just watch where you're walking, watch for your peers. If you go out this afternoon, take it easy on the liquid energy. We don't need any incidents. Remember that we are the fire service of the state, and we represent our own organizations as well as the state itself. So bad news sells. They find out you're a firefighter or EMS provider. That's going to be the top line on the headline, and we don't need that. And today is primary day, so I took my time the other day, and I saved our money, and I went and voted the best I could. So I hope everybody else did the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Black. As we move forward into today, we're going to start off with our Legislative Committee report. Chairman Bob Phillips, along with the Senator William H. Amoss Memorial Legislative Award.
Good morning, all. I'm Chief Bob Phillips. I'm proud to say that I'm the legislative chair for the MSFA, and I represent all of you in Annapolis, the fire service, the EMS service, and rescue service. It's quite an honor. Here I have my vice chair, Teresa Chrisman, who keeps everything together and makes sure that I stay awake. A brief overview of what we do in Annapolis is we're up there 10 and a half months a year representing you. Issues that come up in the fire service legislatively that are going to positively or negatively impact the fire service, we're there to address them and all the other concerns that come up. 5 days a week we're in Annapolis during the session. The rest of the time during the year we're up there as needed on a regular basis. And we're there for you. It's very, very important our voice is heard, and we try to make sure that that voice is loud and clear. This past year we had many bills like any other time. I'm not going to go over all of them, just a few highlights of what we have worked on this year and were able to have some positive outcomes. We had a House Bill 1221, Senate Bill 624. The short term would be the Public Safety Short-Term Rental Bill. Standing next to me is the lady that actually picked up on this bill and all the ramifications, very instrumental in working with the delegates and the senators to make sure this bill got the proper language in it. Working with the State Fire Marshal's office to make sure things were done correctly. And we got this bill. Major things in it. Short-term rentals. These are people coming from all over, and it could be you going someplace into a strange home for a week or a month. And does it have smoke alarms, CO alarms? It will now. Emergency exit plans. You're sleeping in a strange house the first night, and there's an emergency. Do you awaken at 2 o'clock in the morning and have any idea how you're going to exit that building? Now there have to be exit plans there for you. Emergency phone numbers. Who do you call? Where do you call? If something happens. This is another part of it. This is now mandatory. Working fire extinguishers. These are all things that were never there before, but because of the due diligence, Teresa being the mainstay on this, we now have that in law. It's going to take place for everybody, keep people safer. House Bill 347, workman's compensation bill having to do with hypertension. One of the parts of the workman's compensation presumptive is hypertension. It's been around the longest. Now it's a little bit better. Because of how it is applied, it could be applied several different ways. We now have clarity on that, and we have a better way to make sure everybody is properly covered. These are the types of things that we're getting done. For the fire companies, House Bill 483, this is in the business regulation law. As corporations, we have got audits that we have to do every year, reports that are due on time, and there are thresholds which you go from just a regular report to you have to have certified reports. You have to have CPAs come in and do them. We've raised those thresholds now to lower the cost of operations. And moving on down the list here, we'll just talk about one that you're going to hear later on, Senate Bill 579, the cancer screening bill for the volunteer firefighters. This was Senator J.B. Jennings' bill. This now requires the counties to be responsible to make sure that every year cancer screenings are made available to all volunteer firefighters. There's a lot of moving parts in it. I'll give you some of those in just a few minutes. But this bill now makes sure that one of our major killers, it's growing, we are now able to detect these cancers earlier and have better outcomes. This type of legislation we worked on this past year. As far as being in Annapolis, there's a lot of time and effort goes in up there. We've got several people on our committees. Looking over here, if you'll just give me a quick second. What I'm going to call is the core group of people that we have up there. We have the ones that go in every day. They're in there one or 2 days a week. We get there 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. We're there 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's 5 days a week sometimes. We have Harv and Laura Woods. They've been working legislative work for more years than I've been around, that's for sure. Past President Joel McCrae and his wife Barb McCrae. Dave Bowen, he comes in and handles bills. He was very instrumental working with Senator Jennings this year on his bill. Soon to be President Bill Fouts. He will be inducted this year. He's our incoming president. He's been coming up there now for several years. Past President Eric Smothers, he's been working with us now for several years, very instrumental in a lot of our EMS work that we do. Out of Southern Maryland, we have Randy Smith, who comes up. Anytime we need something in Southern Maryland, he's already there. He's always there. He's out there talking to people and getting things taken care of for us. And then you have Teresa and I. That's the crew that's in there all the time. We have other people that come in on a less frequent basis. We have people that come in from different counties and sit and work with us to make sure your voices are heard in Annapolis. As far as time that we spend up there, I've got a few numbers here I'd like to give you. The MSFA totals this past year. During the 90-day session, this only applies to that, we had 539 hours of time in the office. This does not include the time back and forth to the office, doesn't include the time you're home. Neither one of us go home and don't continue on with the work, that's for sure. We had 88 days out of 90 that we were up there. And we had a total of 8,873 miles that were driven, just taking care of back and forth, just only to the office. Doesn't include all the other time. So it's a very diligent group that you have working for you. Every person, very proud to serve the MSFA and represent you specifically. We also have another group that works with us in Annapolis on a regular basis. This is the LA MSFA. They have ladies that come in and work with us every day, Every day we're up there, they're up there. They help us immensely. I use two terms. We got the front office and the back office. Well, the back office is where we sit back there and go over bills and discuss what's going on, stuff like that. The front office keeps the back office straight. Let me tell you that. These ladies come in, they answer the telephones, they get messages out for us. They pick up, every day, they pick up the mail. We call it the mail. They pick up the bills that were dropped the day before. It could be 5 bills, it could be 250 bills. And they sit in that front office and read every word of every bill to make sure that those of us in the back office haven't missed something. These ladies really, really turn out a lot of time going over bills, highlighting all the things that have to do with the fire EMS rescue services, and make sure that it comes to our attention, to just another set of eyes to make sure we haven't made any mistakes. They come in, and I'm standing behind a podium, you can't really tell. But I can show you the 17 state circle body, because these ladies come in every day with real nice pastries. I'm telling you, it gets to a point like, oh my God, come on Saturday, I don't have to go in and eat some more of these. They're too daggone good to turn down, I'll tell you. And yes, they really take care of us. These ladies put in, again, this is over the 90-day session, normally just 5 days a week, 276 hours of time. They were up there 40 days out of the 90. That's every week. And they had over 3,282 miles that they drove. This is on their nickel, back and forth to that office only. And this is time that they spend in the office, not all the extra time that they are there working. So I would like to hear a round of applause for the LAMSFA. The ladies I'm speaking of, and they're downstairs in the meeting right now, so they're not here to be recognized. We have Rosa Mayer. We have Marion Nicholson, I'm sorry, I didn't get a no in there. We have Kathy Tracy, Jane Hoffman, and our vice chair, Teresa Krisman here. She is the leader of the pack. She keeps us all straight, and you don't ever want to do something that you don't want anybody else to know, because she'll take a picture of you and then share it with everybody and make it big and put it on screens and stuff.
Don't fall asleep.
Yeah, don't fall asleep in that office. That's what we've done up here. I do have a report. It's in the book. It's already been filed. I'm not going to bore you with all the stuff in there. I just want you to understand that we're there for you. It's easy to get hold of us. Anytime you need something, want something, have a question. Doesn't matter what it is. You can always get hold of one of us, and we will address it, because it's very important to us that your voice is heard, and we try to be the megaphone on it. Anything for yourself?
I'd just like to say thank you to Chief Phillips for the leadership that you provide all of us. It is a backbone system back there. We have very nice real estate, as we were told. Some people are like, how did you get this? Well, for $1 a year, you can get it too. So it struggles at times that we read all these bills, but we're here, I guess he said, for you all. And if you need to be a part of that report and you want to receive it every week during legislative session, send me an email and we will add you to the 362 people that already receive it. So please be a part. If you see something, you need something, let us know and we can make that help and support that change. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. At this time, every year we have the Senator William H. Amoss Memorial Legislative Award. Now the team there in the office sit down and discuss this. We talk about senators and delegates and different ones in Annapolis that help us accomplish what we're able to accomplish. And each year it's a very tough decision. Many times it comes down to who. But each year we pick a senator that has worked with us. It might be 1 year, it could be multiple years. It might be a special piece of legislation. But we come down and we try to find that delegate, we try to find that senator that has worked with us this year and really made a difference. This year, we have two. I want to speak about both of them briefly. The first one would be Delegate Linda Foley, not able to be here today. We will present her with a plaque later on. But she's with Montgomery County, District 15. She was the sponsor of the bill, House Bill 1221 I spoke about earlier, having to do with the short-term rentals. That bill was the result of a very tragic accident, a situation, event, where two young ladies lost their life. Very sad. Didn't happen in the state of Maryland, but it happened to people from the state of Maryland. They were out of state. And her goal was to make sure it doesn't happen in our state to anybody. So she put a lot of time in this. She worked with Delegate Foley on it. Delegate Hutchinson also worked with her. But Teresa can speak a little bit more on this. I hope she does. But the delegate did a very, very good job working on this. Teresa spoke on it. You want to say something about 1221?
It was on behalf of Jillian and Lindsay Weiner from Montgomery County. They were actually in an Airbnb up in New York. And during the night, summertime, their home, where they were staying, caught fire. Their parents and their brother were able to evacuate themselves, but the brother tried to get back up to their sisters and weren't able to do that. And the family felt so compelled from this. They've actually been working on this for the last 3 years, and this is the first year that it was able to pass. And she's actually now working with the National State Fire Marshals Association, NASM, to help other states with the same issues. Because when you rent an Airbnb, CO and smoke alarms are considered luxuries, and you have to ask for them. And at one point in time, they used to have to charge for them. So having this bill and making Maryland safe is a highlight of this, and I do know that the states are looking at our bill. Ms. Foley and the family have taken our language, and their next state they're helping is Massachusetts.
The other recipient this year would be Senator J.B. Jennings. He sponsored Senate Bill 579. This bill creates the environment where the counties are now responsible for providing cancer screenings annually for the volunteer fire service. We had a bill a couple years ago, the Jimmy Malone bill. This bill did the same thing for the career side, having to do with their service. This bill will now allow for the counties to have the cancer screenings on an annual basis. The screenings will be done at no cost to the firefighter themselves. It also mandates that there is going to be a continuous, ongoing, active list of firefighters in each county, something we've never had. The counties are responsible for maintaining this with information that's provided on an annual basis by the volunteer fire companies. We'll know what the volunteer fire service is doing in the state of Maryland. We're doing testing now. We just finished up, June 30th will be the end of this year's screening program, and we're waiting to see what kind of results we get back. This is the widest, this year is the first time we've had a statewide career and volunteer cancer screening program. Turned out very well. We had a very good response to it, and we're going to get some good information. What kind of cancers are predominantly affecting us here in Maryland? Because we're not, in a nationwide study, we're not Montana, we're not Iowa, we're not South Carolina, we're Maryland. What affects us here that might be different? And we're going to get that information now. This bill now includes every year the volunteer fire service. It also, like I say, there's information going to come out, there's reports are going to come out of this. The good, it's hard to even start adding up the good and positive that's going to come out of this. This is the bill that Senator Jennings sponsored this year. He's in the audience. I'd like for him to come up. I want to present him with Legislator of the Year, the MSFA, for the FY26.
Dale and Joel, come on up. please.
If you don't mind, I'll just say a few things real quick. It's hard to give a politician a microphone and not speak. As the chief said, this started with Jim Malone, incredible man. He was my vice chair when I first got to the legislature. Unfortunately, we lost him 2 years ago. But he started this for the career side. And when you look at the state, over 70% of the state's covered by volunteers. The carcinogens don't know the difference between career and volunteer. We all run in. I used to be a volunteer. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to do it anymore. But it does not know the difference whether you're a career volunteer going in and who it affects. And everybody needs to be tested. What we did put in this bill is also it's retirees. So once you do hang up your helmet, your jacket, and you stop riding, you can still be tested because a lot of these cancers do come later in life. But I also want to give a quick shout out because, as legislators, I'm here, also Senator Folden's here. When he helped, on the Senate side get this passed. When we testify, our fellow legislators, they listen to us, they see us every day, they don't always pay attention. It's those who come with us to testify. You do need to give a shout out to Dale Bowen, who testified. He represented you all. He was the one that convinced our colleagues in the Senate and the House that this was needed. He was the one who helped make the case that why we need this. Because the counties at first, they didn't want this. They're like, we can't afford this. This isn't right. But he was the one, his testimony made the counties realize, you know what, they're doing this for free. This is the least we can do for them to have them tested. So I want to thank him and please give him a round of applause because he deserves this just as much as me. So thank you.
So our next special legislator of the year is named after Richard Smith. And if you ever worked with Richard Smith in the legislative office, he started emailing you or texting you at 5 o'clock in the morning to wake up and start reading the bills. I'm like, Richard, can I just roll over once? So this year, we had a big fight on our hands. It was the medical marijuana bill that really affected the fire service in a way that we still don't understand how it's going to be the issue. And as a fire service, we have to protect ourselves, we protect our communities. And yes, there is ways to use this medicine at times, but how do you really do this as a job? So during one of the sessions, this senator took a lot of phone calls because I texted Eric immediately, and Eric texted the senator. And he stood up and says, my phone's blowing up from the MSFA, this is not a good bill. So, Senator Foley, that was my fault that your phone was a little out of control that day. So this year, because of all your hard work for us, we would like to name you the Chief Richard Smith, MSFA Special Legislator of the Year for 2026. Thank you, sir. Sorry about that. I'll get your phone bill later. Ron Sorrentz will pay it for you.
Apparently I'm supposed to say something, so I'll say something. Look, I'm a 30-year police officer. There's science behind a lot of things that we do and don't do, and there's clear science that there is no way to determine if someone is impaired by cannabis. And unfortunately, while it is been adopted in Maryland as a tool to help those that are ailing, especially our, ailing with a lot of injuries, lifelong injuries, whether it be from the military service, fire rescue service. If there's a way that you still want to continue to serve, the measurable standard is not there to make sure that you're able to properly and safely render aid to those in need. And
one thing that unifies all of us is that in those moments of danger, this group is going towards it. We're not running away from it like everybody else, and we've got to be the tip of the spear. We've got to be the best we are and ready to engage whatever we are facing, and we have to do it professionally, responsibly, and we have to do it without any type of impairment. And with that, I just really appreciate the opportunity, and thank you all for your support. Thank you for your advocacy coming out this year, and you guys, thanks for blowing up my phone. So it was a great session, and I appreciate the support. Thank you.
That would be it for the Legislative Committee. Again, if you ever have questions or concerns, reach out to us. Our phone numbers, our contact information's everywhere, and we stand ready to serve you. Thank you.
Jeff Donahue, Barrel Department.
The Legislative Committee, what a fantastic group of people. They work day and night just about in order to get much of this accomplished, and so much of it is awareness. It's being working with others, and tremendous amount of work, tremendous amount of positive influence that they have as to the Maryland Fire and EMS service. So thank them very much for all they do. Next on the list, we're going to have a great presentation by Shipboard Fires Maritime Response Considerations. It's going to be Jeff Donahue, who's the Director of the Emergency Preparedness and Response for Maryland Department MDE. So, Jeff?
Good morning. I need the clicker. I think I found it. Nope, that's not it. It's right here. Aha. Just click fast. Click fast. If you hold on to it, click fast. Okay, good morning. Apparently Kenny Bush had a lapse in judgment and asked me to do the keynote for this morning, so here I am. Here today to talk to you about marine firefighting. Kind of maybe a goofy topic for someone from the Department of the Environment, but in the world of marine firefighting, like you'll find, unlike any other fire service specialty, people who have very limited experience end up being the people who have the most experience in shipboard firefighting, because it's something that doesn't happen frequently. I shouldn't say it doesn't happen frequently, it just doesn't happen frequently in the same places. So through the course of my career, I've had the opportunity to work numerous ship incidents, most recently out in California for a month, but I'll get into that in the presentation. Real quick note about me, so I am one of you. I got my start at Chestertown, so I saw the boys in the back there, so hats off to them. Did some time at Rock Hall. Most recently have been in Baltimore County at Providence, where I've been for, I don't know, 30 years or so. So I started out as a chemistry major, decided chemistry really wasn't a good path for me to go, so I became a business major. Now I'm in charge of hazmat for the state, so figure that one out. Okay, so why are we here talking about salvage and marine firefighting today? Okay, so the picture's kind of illustrated. So top left picture you see there, that happened in Baltimore Harbor. That was the W. Sapphire. We had the Grimaldi ship, killed 2 firefighters. We'll get into that a little bit later. Obviously, we had the Key Bridge back in 2024. And then the bottom right was a cruise ship, it's a dinner cruise ship down in the port of Norfolk, which was the Spirit of Norfolk. So these incidents are happening. Sadly, with these incidents, we've had multiple firefighter maydays. We've had multiple, actually 2 fatalities here with the Grimaldi incident up in New Jersey, up in Newark. So that really is why we're here today, is these 2. So Augie Akabu and Wayne Bear Brooks, they were the two fatalities up in Newark. So really, I sat there the night that occurred. My wife, who came from a fire department family, was going to bed, and she's like, hey, there's a ship fire up in Newark, New Jersey. So I went online to find live audio, and I started listening to it. And this was before the Maydays occurred. So I actually listened to the Maydays occur. I listened to the Maydays of the folks that were going to rescue them, and I'm sitting there thinking, man, we're going to lose like a whole bunch of people here, and just didn't have a good feeling. When I went to bed, it was probably about 1 o'clock in the morning. At that point, I knew there were at least 2 fatalities, okay? When I woke up the next morning, I was surprised that it was only 2 fatalities, to be honest with you. So that's really one of the big pushes why we're here, why I'm here. I've been pushing real hard. We had an organization back when I first started with the state called Mid-Chesapeake Marine Emergency Response Group, which we were focusing on this. It never really got the traction it needed. This incident really kind of drove that home. We have a lot of support from the Port of Baltimore now, so we're in the process, hopefully, of standing up a maritime incident response team through the port, and hopefully we'll extend that statewide in the near future, but we got to crawl before we walk. So looking at shipboard incidents, like most of you, know, Maryland obviously is divided by the Chesapeake Bay, so not everybody has to deal with ships, okay? What's interesting is a lot of people don't realize who has jurisdiction. So firefighting is a local jurisdictional issue. A lot of people have this misconception that the Coast Guard is responsible for shipboard firefighting. Back in 1974, the federal government passed legislation which was the Federal Fire Control Act of 1974, and basically what that said, or one of the parts of what that said, was that the federal government, so federal entities, will not have a first due area outside of federal property. So they can respond as mutual aid, but they can't be the primary response. So that was a big change in the way the Coast Guard did business. So as they started building newer vessels and stuff, they weren't even putting fire pumps on them other than for dealing with fires on their own vessels. So a lot of people think that the Coast Guard's gonna come out to rescue you and be there. They're gonna help, but they're not gonna be there fighting the fire, okay? So who has jurisdiction? It comes down to the local authority. Where does your jurisdictional boundary stop? Does the county line stop at the water? No, the county line goes out into wherever the agreed point is. You know, if you're on the Potomac River, it's all the way over to the Virginia side of the Potomac. If you're out in the bay, it's somewhere around the middle of the bay. So if you have jurisdiction that touches the bay, you have jurisdiction that probably has part of the shipping channels that are a part of that. So you have jurisdictional authority there, okay? Vessels at anchorage, again, if the vessel's out at anchorage, we have the Annapolis anchorage. You came across the Bay Bridge on your way here. This morning, I left the house at like 4 o'clock, crossing the Bay Bridge at 5. I counted like 9 ships out there, okay? So somebody, whichever side of the line they're on, whether it be Queen Anne's County or Anne Arundel, they have jurisdictional authority there. Vessels in international waters, it's the responsibility of the master of the vessel, so the captain, as we would call them. Okay? As a result of the Grimaldi fire, NTSB came out with a list of recommendations, basically saying that we in the fire service, be it career, volunteer, whatever, we need to improve our training. And the reason we had the fatalities up in Newark was they had folks that weren't trained, they weren't familiar with the shipboard environment, just lots of issues there. You know, some of those folks had never been on a ship. Your first time going on a ship, it should not be when the ship's on fire, because it's a whole world of difference from what we're used to in the structural firefighting world. Okay, again, Coast Guard is not responsible for firefighting operations. They will respond to marine fires as resources permit. So if they have people, I will tell you, if they're doing a search and rescue mission, life safety is a priority for them, they're not going to send resources to the fire. They're going to be worried about search and rescue, life safety. And again, their priority is truly life safety. Okay, so the captain of the port, or the sector commander, captain port at Baltimore, Patrick Burkett, good friend of mine, they wear multiple hats. So first and foremost, as captain of the port, they manage port safety and security and regulate vessel traffic. That's important. The captain of the port is the only person that can direct a ship to do something. They can direct the movement of the ship. They can also direct a terminal or a port facility to accept a ship. So if we have a ship in peril, they can actually force someone to take that ship. So there's somebody we need as the fire service to have in our pocket and work very closely with. They also serve as a federal maritime security coordinator. Next really important one is their responsibility as the federal on-scene coordinator. So in my job at MDE, I serve as the state on-scene coordinator. So if we have a large hazmat incident, an oil spill or something, I am the primary representative from the state. That is the same authority that the captain of the port has, and that's basically established under the Oil Pollution Act of 1990, the National Response Framework, and the National Contingency Plan. They're also the search and rescue mission coordinator, so if we have a vessel casualty, and when we refer to casualties in vessels, it can be a grounding, it could be a capsize, anything, it could be a fire, not just the casualties we're used to dealing with in the EMS world. And lastly, they also serve as the officer in charge of marine inspections and investigations. So they wear that hat, so if something does happen with a vessel, they're ultimately the one that's in charge of doing the investigation. So talk about incident command versus unified command. This is just a real quick overview. Like initially, your incident commander is going to get there. You really need to coordinate with whoever the master of the vessel is, the captain of the vessel. When we're dealing with foreign flag vessels, this is kind of interesting. So in the fire service, we're used to the mentality that when we have a fire in a building, that we own the building while we're there. And if we want to tell everybody to get out, they get out. We have total control. On a foreign flag vessel, we don't. A foreign flag vessel operates as a sovereign body of the country that it's flagged in. We actually have to have permission from the master to board the vessel. If they don't want us to come on board, it doesn't matter how big the fire is. They can tell us, hey, you're not coming on. They have the total authority to do that. Ideally, the captain of the port's probably going to work with them and be like, hey, you really need to bring these people on. But just bear that in mind. So at the very onset, the first thing we need to do when we respond to a vessel incident of any type is establish that working relationship with the master of the vessel. They know the vessel, they know the crew, they know the systems, they have control of those things. So they're the ones that can make our job easy. If you send a crew down, into the hull of a ship or something, down into the lower decks, they're going to get lost. They have no idea where they're going. They've never been in there. Some of these ships can be up to 1,200 feet long. It's just massive and not the place for the learning by trial by fire. Real quick about the Port of Baltimore. So Helen Dillich Bentley Port of Baltimore consists of 5 public marine terminals, which we refer to as the Port of Baltimore. But the important thing to remember there is there's 20-plus private terminals that are not part of the state-owned port. Looking at statistics for the port, total vessel visits of large vessels, 2,223, which is a record high, a 21% increase over 2024. 2024 is down a little bit because we closed the port for roughly 2 months because of the Key Bridge. Total cargo, 50 million tons. Cruise passengers, over 413,000 passengers go through the Port of Baltimore annually. They're ranked number 10 in the U.S. for foreign cargo by value, number 11 by tonnage. They're number 1 in forest products in the United States with over 1.1 million tons of forest products. Number 1 in roll-off cargo with over 887,000 tons. Number 2 in cars and light trucks. We used to be number 1. The Key Bridge shied some of the business away from us. It's questionable whether we'll get back to that number 1 spot, but we're still sitting number 2. That's almost 750,000 vehicles pass through the Port of Baltimore annually. Okay, number 1 in the port for specialized roll-on and roll-off cargo. So when we think roll-on, roll-off cargo, the first thing comes to mind is cars. There's also heavy machinery, tractors. John Deere has loads and loads of equipment, Case, all the big excavators, dozers, track loaders, so on and so forth, all come through the Port of Baltimore. Why? Because it's proximity to I-95, the easy accessibility to rail transport within the port and its terminals. It's also the closest inland port to the Midwest, which is why we see all that heavy vehicle traffic. We handle the largest amount of bulk steel cargo in the United States, and 1/4 of coal exports from the United States are handled through the Port of Baltimore. Surprisingly, we're not number 1 there. We're number 2, right behind Norfolk, Virginia, as number 1. Okay? So next I'm going to go through a couple of incidents here, and the interesting thing is all of these incidents that I'm going to cover have a Maryland nexus. Somehow they tie to the state of Maryland. Either the ship was coming here, or it was leaving from here, or had just departed. So the first one, 2004, the MV Bow Mariner. It sank about 50 miles east-southeast of here. The entire crew was lost. They had an explosion. They had offloaded a MTBE, which is used as a gasoline additive back several years ago. 570-footer, had an explosion, the vessel sank, the entire crew was lost. Okay, it sank in approximately 260 feet of water. Okay, again, just off the Maryland-Virginia coast. Okay, 2013, the Grandeur of the Seas. If anybody drives up the I-95 corridor, you see the cruise ships. Grandeur of the Seas used to be one of the ones that frequently called in the Port of Baltimore. March 27th of that year, off the west end of the Bahamas, they had a fire, as you can see in the stern there. Fire originated in the aft mooring area, spread up into the deck and the crew area and the lounge area. 2,224 passengers on board, no injuries to passengers or crew, thankfully. Okay, the vessel was able to sail under its own power back to the Bahamas where they discharged the passenger and crew. So again, this ship's based out of Baltimore, or was based out of Baltimore at the time. That could have easily happened here. Okay, 2020, June 4th, Jacksonville, Florida, the MV Hogue Jamin, car carrier. It was just preparing to let loose lines to come to the Port of Baltimore was its next stop. It was loaded with used cars that were bound for West Africa. A very similar circumstance to the Grimaldi fire up in Newark. 600-foot car carrier, again, loaded with junk vehicles. It's the best way to describe them. There are vehicles that won't pass like inspections in the United States, so we send them over to West Africa, and they don't care. They drive without doors or floors or brakes or whatever. As long as it starts and moves, they're happy to have them. Okay? But again, that vessel was coming here, so 3 days later, that would have been our incident. 9 firefighters were injured during an explosion on board. Okay? A good friend of mine was one of the battalion chiefs that was in charge of that. And you talk about a pucker factor when you see that explosion and you have that unaccountability for your people. Okay? We don't want that to happen. Never want that to happen again. That vessel was declared a total constructive loss and was scrapped. So they had folks inside fighting this fire, and for what? For this thing to become a piece of scrap metal and to save junk cars. 2022, the MV Felicity Ace, 2,000 nautical miles southwest of the Azores, 665-foot pure car and truck carrier, okay, loaded with 3,965 automobiles, including Porsches, Audis, Lamborghinis, Bentleys, and Volkswagens. Okay, I forget where they had departed from. It's obviously missing from my notes. First port of call for that was Davisville, Rhode Island. The next port of call was the Port of Baltimore. So again, several days later, that could have been a Port of Baltimore incident or a Chesapeake Bay incident. Fire was believed to have started in an electric vehicle. If any of you all are following me on Facebook, you know my love of electric vehicles and in particular lithium-ion batteries. All 22 crew members safely evacuated the vessel and were rescued. Ultimately, the vessel sank and was an estimated $400 million worth of damage. 2023, the MV Ever Forward. Okay, hopefully everybody's familiar with that one. Grounded at the mouth of the Patapsco River as it was departing the Port of Baltimore, straight out of the channel. 1,100-foot container ship. I worked a unified command on that for 36 days. I will tell you that you go into an incident with like a firefighting mindset, and we're not used to incidents lasting, days, let alone weeks, let alone months. Okay, so from a hazmat perspective, like the first thing I did when I got on board the ship is I got the dangerous cargo manifest and I looked at the hazmat just to see like, what are we dealing with? And there's nothing that really seemed to jump out at me. But what you have to preface that with is now we're 36 days later. What's this thing been through during that time? There's chemicals that have to be stabilized every so often, and now we're pushing the time limits on those that can basically explode. So that became a concern. While we didn't have a fire, it was just a major incident. Again, the vessel remained grounded for 35 days. Ultimately, we offloaded 505 containers over the water, so using barge-mounted cranes to go out there. Not an easy task, okay? Huge, huge issue, okay? I mean, that could have been any one of y'all incidents if you have, part of the channel or the canal runs through your area. 2023, July 5th, Grande Costa d'Avorio. That ship departed the Port of Baltimore 2 days prior. 2 days prior. 692-foot-long Conroe container ship / roll-on, roll-off, so it's a combination vehicle. Again, loading junk vehicles for West Africa. Ultimately, that was the result of a pusher vehicle that was being used to push vehicles up onto the deck that couldn't run on their own. Again, it killed the 2 firefighters, Augie Akabu and Bear Brooks. $23 million in damage to the vessel. That vessel was repaired. It's still sailing the seas. We lost 2 people. For what? To save junk cars. Okay? Just a quick glimpse of the back portion of the vessel. That's the car deck. So we're talking to the top deck, I think is deck 13. The fire occurred on, I believe it was deck 11. Just think of the logistics of trying to get your equipment and stuff on there. You know, think about what they went through to get into that. Okay? This is how the cars are packed on one of those vessels. Take a look how close they are. Okay? One of the firefighters was found wedged in between 2 of those vehicles. He couldn't escape. He got trapped in there. There's literally like inches between these vehicles. These are brand new Land Rovers and Range Rovers. They have dollar value, so they're actually parked a little farther apart. When they're junk cars, they don't care how close they put them together. But I listened to the radio. I heard them requesting like hydraulic rescue tools so they could shove the cars apart. These cars are all lashed down, so there's lashings in there, and they're trying to drag a hose line through here because there's a fire on the deck. Imagine you're crawling through that with 0 visibility, intense heat. That ceiling, I can't stand up in that deck and walk. That's how low the ceilings are. Think about what that's doing to the heat, pushing it down on you. It's steel. You know, it's not forgiving anything. So just bear that in mind. Is the first time that you want to be exposed to something like that when there's fire and smoke involved, and not having ever done a walkthrough of a vessel like that. These things call in the port almost every day, okay? That's one of the ramps that goes up between decks. They even park the cars on the ramp. See how tightly they're packed? Again, there's no room to walk. How do you stretch hose lines? You can see the lashings there on the fronts of the vehicles, how they're all tied down. It's all trip hazards, entanglement hazards. Okay, 2 years later, and I'll tell you, I thought that in my career, I'm approaching the end of my career. I'm not there yet, but there's some sunshine, I think, at the end of the tunnel. And I never thought I would have seen a bigger incident than what the Ever Forward was, and let alone 2 years later, almost to the day came the Dolly. Got the call at 1:54 in the morning on that from one of my guys telling me, said, "You're not going to believe this, but a ship hit the bridge, and the key bridge fell." I was like, "Dude, no way!" And sure enough, everybody's obviously seen probably the videos and stuff like that. 6 lives were lost on that. And, there's nothing we could do to prevent that from happening as far as the lives that were lost from them falling into the water. But ultimately, 6 people's lives were lost. Why this didn't catch on fire is beyond me. It had every opportunity in the world. You look at the materials that were up in the front. They store a lot of like paints and solvents and things like that, hazardous materials on board. There's vehicles in some of those containers. So there's a lot of possibility. Again, it just never happened. The vessel was refloated after 56 days. It probably took longer to refloat it than it did once it got back to China to get repaired and be back out on the water. So she's actually sailing the seas again. Think about the economic impact of the Port of Baltimore, okay? So I made a couple phone calls right after I got the phone call. So the first call was to the Coast Guard to make sure they were aware of the incident. And I primarily deal with the pollution response folks. They had no idea this was going on. It's like that kind of surprised me. So their response folks and SAR folks, nobody talks apparently, which is kind of baffling, but you would think that they would have heard of this. So my second call, I think, was to my boss to let her know. And then my third call was to my counterpart, or a good friend of mine down the Port of Virginia, who's the director of their Maritime Incident Response Team and Business Continuity, and said, "Hey, Bill," he said, "ship hit the Key Bridge. The bridge has collapsed. The Port of Baltimore is going to be closed indefinitely." So the big question was like, how long is it going to take to get open? Well, I mean, it was like a crapshoot for the first couple weeks, okay? But just think of the impact. So I told Bill, it's like, if you got any vessels getting ready to leave the port, don't send them our way because we don't got anywhere to put them, So, again, in 2024, a little bit later, we had the MV Love Bug, which is a yacht that sank off the West River. 5 personnel on board, only 1 minor injury, $8 million loss there, okay? And that's because it's got like a garage in the back, if you'll call it that, for like personal watercraft and small boats, and the door wasn't secured, and they pulled back from running, and the wake came and just washed out the boat and flooded the engine room and sank relatively quickly. MV Anglo-Marie Louise, so this happened off the coast of North Carolina, Virginia, about 150 miles east of North Carolina. It was a bulker. Really interesting story here. They had an explosion in the number 2 cargo hold, okay? It was a coal carrier. It had departed the CSX coal pier in Baltimore, okay? Then we fast forward, just hold that one in mind. We had one in between then. The Grande Congo, this was coming inbound to Baltimore. They suffered a fire about 1,000 miles out. Called ahead, said, hey, we're coming in. We got a fire on board. We've got everything sealed off, but we're coming in. There was a lot of back and forth. They ended up diverting into the port of Virginia so that they could recharge their onboard suppression system, and Virginia ended up dealing with the majority of that incident. But that was a result of equipment on board the vessel. They were in some heavy seas. The equipment like smashed around, broke loose from the tie downs, okay? Okay, that's what the inside of one of those vessels looks like. So look how tightly they're packed. Again, picture yourself crawling through there to fight a fire in that, okay? How are you gonna do that? And these things are, 600-700 feet long. Just imagine you're crawling over these big Komatsu tractors or excavators. There's nowhere to walk in between them. Just massive logistical nightmare there, okay? That was on board the Congo after the fire. All that cargo, all those large excavators, and it's hard to imagine something like that breaking loose because the ship's rocking that hard. Just breaks loose from the tie-down chains and like slams up against walls. And next thing you know, catches fire, and that's the end result of it right there. Okay, so going back to the Anglo-Marie Louise, okay, 2025, we had the W Sapphire. If you paid any attention to the news, you saw it departing the port of Baltimore, suffered a explosion in the cargo hold, number 2 cargo hold. Exact same scenario that we had from the Anglo-Marie Louise. I don't know if this, it'll play the video here. So that was from the bridge.
There was no fire.
When that explosion occurred. That launched a 50-ton cargo hatch cover overboard and displaced the other one. So there's 2 hatch covers. They go sideways. It launched one over and the other one was hanging off the side. There's the cargo hatch cover. That's steel, okay? It's not small at all. It's about 50 feet long, 20 feet wide, 25 feet wide. Again, weighs 50 tons. Think about the blast force to throw that over. There was no fire on board this. It was just a flash fire, no sustained fire. Once it blew, that was it. That was a result of methane off-gassing from the coal. And I haven't heard yet if there's been a release on what the exact source of the ignition was. But it's just ironic that we had the exact same incident occur about 1.5 years prior down off of Virginia. The nice thing is, because the marine firefighting community is very close-knit, when this happened, within minutes, I was getting phone calls from friends of mine who work for contractors that were on this incident. They're like, hey, here's some things you need to be considerate of. Here's some things to do. Here's some things to avoid. It's like, this is fantastic, because otherwise, what's the starting point of something like this? Who has experience dealing with this? People, this is a once-in-a-career kind of thing for most people, okay? There you can see the forward cargo hold, the hatch cover laying off the side there on the bow. Okay, 2025, we had the cement transporter 6,500 barge fire. It was an electric fire on board a barge. So even if you don't have deep water port where you're getting heavy ships, do you have barge traffic? So like down the Wacomico River, Salisbury, they have a lot of barge traffic in there, whether it's agricultural products or it's fuel going up into the old Cato terminal. We have all these things moving up and down our waterways. So just because you may not have the Port of Baltimore as your first due doesn't mean that you don't have the potential. Think about these yachts. If you have like a large marina or something like that, we all have the potential for these things. Most of these big boats are made of fiberglass, these big yachts and stuff. And what's fiberglass? It's nothing more than like solidified fuel. Okay, it's just basically, petroleum that's solidified. So think about the implications there. So going into some emerging threats in maritime commerce. So alternative marine fuels is a big thing. So right now, because of clean air standards, they're looking at different ways to power ships. So most vessels now are dual fueled, so they run heavy bunker oil when they're out at sea. When they get within so many miles of the coastline, they have to switch over to clean burning fuel. Most of them right now are using like a marine diesel as opposed to the heavy bunker when they get into port, so it's cleaner burning, less carbon emissions. But there's a big push to go to hydrogen cell. There's ammonia, CNG, LNG. So there's all kinds of things in the ways. There's some, electric power. So again, electric power is coming in the form of lithium-ion batteries. Think about all the problems we have with them. And we're going to put them on board these vessels. So the bottom one there, the Zim Mount Everest, that's the largest container ship that's called on the Port of Baltimore, 1,200 feet long. It's alternative LNG fueled, okay? So like everything, industry changes, but where are we as the fire service getting our training from? Nobody's providing training. Nobody provided training when they came out with lithium-ion batteries, Anyone know when the first lithium-ion battery came out, was first introduced to the commercial market? What year? It was 1991. So when did we in the fire service start worrying about lithium-ion batteries? Probably about 5 years ago. Okay, so they've been out since 1991. Just bear that in mind. The other thing is, these vessels are getting larger and larger and larger. So again, it used to be, 900 feet was big, and that was controlled by like what could fit through the Panama Canal. Then they enlarged the locks in the Panama Canal so we can allow larger vessels to go through there. So ship sizes are getting bigger and bigger. They're putting more and more containers on these. The Mount Everest can hold 15,000 20-foot equivalent units, so 20-foot long sea containers, it can hold 15,000. Most everybody's using 40-footers nowadays to divide it in half, 7,500 containers. We look at containers, okay? Third bullet point there, misdeclared cargo. Roughly 10 to 15% of containers on board these vessels, especially in the hazmat world, are misdeclared. Whether it's done intentionally or it's done unintentionally, it's happening. It happens all the time. Very, very few of these containers actually get inspected. So it's like 0.1% of every container actually gets inspected going into port, where people actually like open them up and look inside to make sure what the cargo manifest says matches what's inside the container. Okay, so people are putting lithium-ion batteries in containers that aren't labeled as lithium-ion batteries. They're being stored inappropriately because the vessel crew and the guys loading the vessel don't know that it's not supposed to go where it is. So huge, huge issue for us as we move forward, okay? From a legal standpoint, okay, this just was recently filed. The seafood company filed a $185 million lawsuit against the Tacoma Fire Department for a ship fire they had. If you look at the merits of the case, they probably got pretty good justification, and I would be willing to bet that they're going to win some money out of it. And basically their claim is that the fire department was grossly negligent in their approach. So they had the marine salvage team there. They were trying to give them advice, and the fire department wasn't listening to them and were doing their own thing, even though they really didn't have the training to do it. Okay, very similar circumstance to what we saw up in Newark. So I think that's going to be one to watch, and it's going to definitely be interesting to see where that settles out. So what are we doing? What are we doing to combat this? Like I said, we had the NTSB report, their recommendations come out from the Grande Costa d'Avorio. U.S. Coast Guard had a nationwide task force that I served on as an SME. Part of the recommendation of that is that we have the various sectors of the Coast Guard establish salvage and marine firefighting committees as part of their area contingency plan under the Oil Pollution Act of 1990. We have had one for quite a few years, actually predating that, and we're kind of like one of the role models for the other areas of the country to look at. So basically, it's employing a whole response community. So we have folks from all over, all the sectors, whether it be private sector or emergency services, the Coast Guard, so on and so forth, to deal with planning, responding to mitigation, recovering from these type incidents. some training opportunities for anyone that's interested. So Maryland Fire and Rescue Institute has the Fire 203 class, which is marine firefighting for land-based firefighters. I took that about 2 years ago, I guess, a year and a half ago down in Easton, or up in Easton from here. And actually was on the rewrite committee that we just did a pilot a few months ago for the new class. That is, I think it's a 48-hour class or something like that. Now it was 60. We kind of pared it down a little bit, but it's a good opportunity. Port of Virginia has a Maritime Incident Response Team. They do a massive amount of training. They do 2 huge trainings every year, one being the Robert E. Ruman's Hampton Roads Marine Firefighting School, which is at May of every year. I did that back in 2002. I actually go down and assist with the class as a support instructor now. And then they also do a Marine Firefighting Command School for the officers that's in October of every year. The command school is a free class, so the only thing you need to provide is your lodging. They do cap it around 100 people, so if you're interested, go on Port of Virginia's website, take a look, register early. I will tell you it's well worth it. About half of the classroom is in class and the other half is actually out on vessels or in the port. So it's a really good opportunity to get some good exposure into the maritime environment. There's Tri-State Maritime Safety Association up in Delaware. They offer a variety of classes. They'll come in, they'll provide them. They're a nonprofit, but there's a charge for obviously the cost of their instructors, so on and so forth. But if you're interested, they're willing to come out. TransCare, this just came out. So if you got a QR code reader, I would absolutely recommend downloading this. It's about a 2.5 hour class. You can online, sit there at your computer and do it. It's got some pretty good material in it to give you at least a basic level of awareness for the shipboard firefighting environment. Also, we have the National Port Partners Emergency Response Summit. So this was created about 4 years ago. And the first 2 years were in Norfolk. Then last year we met out in San Diego at the Port of San Diego. This year is going to be down in Corpus Christi, Texas, November 4th and 5th. Good opportunity to meet with folks from ports around the country. So we always say if you've seen one port, you've seen one port. Okay, they're all different. You know, Port of Corpus Christi, very heavy petrochemical port. We don't have the big petrochemical presence in the Port of Baltimore. When we were out in San Diego, it's kind of interesting because it's mostly a military port, so a lot of Navy ships and stuff out there. So just a good opportunity to meet with and network with people from across the country who are all facing the same problems that we are. So the last thing I'm going to go over here is the one Henry Hudson, one is Ocean Network Express. It's just a ship carrier. This occurred on November 21st of this past year. So I got called up as a contract marine firefighter to go out there. I was out there probably at about the 24-hour mark as part of the contract firefighting team. We got there late in the afternoon, so I was on the day shift, so I got to sleep a little bit. The night crew went out, literally. We had 4 of us, I think it was, on each shift, okay? The vessel fire started at port. The Unified Command made the decision to have the vessel towed out to the anchorage about 4 miles outside of the port because of concerns for the toxic gases from the smoke, okay? I can tell you that I would have fought and fought and fought to keep that ship at port because when you take it away from port, it makes it 10 times more difficult to deal with. So LAFD and the Port of Long Beach are the 2 largest ports in the country. They're essentially together. I mean, if you like walked from one to the other, you would never notice that you went from one to the other. But both have very robust marine firefighting capabilities. They have firefighting boats that have like 38,000 gallon per minute flow capacities. So once they moved this thing away from the pier, they took all the shipboard firefighting off of the vessel, okay, other than the crew of the vessel. So all the LAFD, all the Long Beach firefighters gone. All they did is support this with a fireboat squirting water from the side of the hull, okay? So until we got there with our contract firefighting crew of 4 people, okay, and then the Marine Salvage team, okay? I was out there 2 weeks initially, came home for 2 weeks, and then back out there for 2 weeks. So I was there for Thanksgiving, my birthday, Christmas, and New Year's. And back when we had the Key Bridge, I missed Easter, so my wife said that way I miss all the major holidays. So take a look at the picture there. Do you see anything obviously wrong with that picture? Okay? The vessel's listing a little bit to the left, to the port side, for those of you with maritime background. It also seems to be very heavy in the bow, wouldn't you say? So I told you that those fireboats were sitting there flowing water on the stacks. Okay, the fire occurred down in the cargo hold about 3 or 4 tiers down. Okay, they pumped 4.3 million gallons of water into the cargo hold before the salvage company told me, you gotta stop putting water on this thing. We're gonna sink it. You know, it's gonna capsize. It's out. You can see like the city lights in the background, how far away we are. They call it the anchorage. It legit, you might call it a cove at best, but it's the Pacific Ocean. So the waves are rolling and you're just out there and that water in that cargo hold's just sloshing back and forth. They had been unloading the vessel, so the one cargo hold was completely empty. I'll show you some pictures here. There's one of the containers that came off, a couple of the containers that came off. And think about that. Those are steel containers. Think about what it takes to melt a steel container to that point, to collapse it. Okay? This is the cargo hold. You can see the water level there. Okay, that cargo hold, when you look at a container ship and you see like maybe 8 or 9 or 10 tiers of containers above deck, there's just as many containers pretty much below deck, maybe like one less. But so in this particular case, I think we had 8 tiers going down into the hold. Okay, so that water is probably about 10 feet from the top of the hold. So just think about how much water, again, 4.3 million gallons of water. Okay. Because it's California, I'm not saying we'd have been any different, but California has very, very stringent environmental regulations. Okay? There was no way in God's green earth anyone was going to convince California EPA that we were going to pump this water overboard to make the ship safe. Okay? It wasn't going to happen. They had to hire a barge from Seattle, Washington to come down to pump that water into. Okay? And they had to do multiple trips with it. You imagine how long it takes just to get a barge at like 7 knots or 6 knots from Seattle all the way down to the Port of Long Beach. Okay? It took weeks. Okay? When I left after the first 2 weeks, it wasn't there. It had just filled up the day I had gotten back, when I came back like right before Christmas. And that was the first load of water that went out. So think of the logistics. If we put water on, unlike a house fire, we have to take the water off to maintain stability of the vessel. So there comes a point in time where we just can't just keep lobbing water. Water's not always our friend in that regard. Okay, that's actually looking down into the hole once the hull was emptied, once they pumped the water out. So you can get an appreciation for how far down that goes. You can see the stairs. I don't know if this, it does have a laser. I don't know if I can, I can't see. Probably doesn't show up on the slide, but there's literally stairs. Those stairs are about as wide as I am. Okay. When that thing's on fire, you're not going to send a crew down in there. I mean, that's going to be like walking into a pizza oven and actually going down through the chimney of it, okay? Let alone you get trapped, something happens, you're never going to get somebody out. We looked at early on and getting some crews down to make an assessment. We had water up to that point, so we're like, yeah, we're not even going to send anybody down there. I was on the RIT crew, and being one of the bigger people, our chief was the first one down, and I'm on the RIT crew, and he came out and telling me how tight it was. I'm like, dude, it's like, if you're expecting me to crawl down in there and get you out because it's tight for you, it's not going to happen, okay? So we need to, if you encounter something like this, avoid applying structural firefighting tactics to shipboard incidents, okay? That's how we get people killed, okay? Seal this thing up, let the onboard suppression system do its thing, and we kind of take it from there. Slow and steady. It's like dealing with a hazmat incident, and truly, it is a hazmat incident. There's another container coming off with a container on top of it. I'm not a fire investigator, but I think you could probably take a guess of where it might have started, looking at that. Interesting thing is when we went into the port, once they brought it back into the terminal, Houston Terminals Incorporated, this was a sign that met us at the door or at the gateway coming in every day. Nothing you do on this site today will be as important as going home to your family and loved ones. So really, at the end of the day, that's what matters. Keep that in mind. Okay, got a quick video here they're going to roll, hopefully. I'm looking at myself. Cue the video.
Senator Collins, thanks for coming in.
It's a great pleasure, thank you.
This ship that was involved in the incident off Western Australia this week...
Yeah, the one the front fell off?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not very typical. I'd like to make that point.
Well, how is it untypical?
Well, there are a lot of these ships going around the world all the time, and very seldom does anything like this happen. I just don't want people thinking that tankers aren't safe.
Was this tanker safe?
Well, I was thinking more about the other ones.
The ones that are safe?
Yeah, the ones the front doesn't fall off.
Well, if this wasn't safe, why did it have 80,000 tonnes of oil on it?
Well, I'm not saying it wasn't safe. It's just perhaps not quite as safe as some of the other ones.
Why?
Well, some of them are built so the front doesn't fall off at all.
Well, wasn't this built so the front wouldn't fall off?
Well, obviously not.
How do you know?
Well, because the front fell off and 20,000 tonnes of crude oil spilled into the sea caught fire. It's a bit of a giveaway. I just like to make the point that that is not normal.
Well, what sort of standards are these oil tankers built to?
Oh, very rigorous maritime engineering standards.
What sort of thing?
Well, the front's not supposed to fall off for a start.
And what other things?
Well, there are regulations governing the materials that they can be made of.
What materials?
Well, cardboard's out.
And?
No cardboard derivatives.
Like paper?
No paper. No string, no sellotape.
Rubber?
No, rubber's out. They've got to have a steering wheel. There's a minimum crew requirement.
What's the minimum crew?
Oh, one, I suppose.
So the allegations that they're just designed to carry as much oil as possible, the hell with the
ludicrous.
consequences, I mean, that's ludicrous.
Absolutely ludicrous. These are very, very strong vessels.
So what happened in this case?
Well, the front fell off in this case, by all means, but it's very unusual.
But Senator Collins, why did the front book fall off?
Well, a wave hit it.
A wave hit it?
A wave hit the ship.
Is that unusual?
Oh, yeah. At sea, chance in a million.
So what do you do to protect the environment in cases like this?
The ship was towed outside the environment.
Into another environment?
No, it's been towed beyond the environment. It's
Yes,
not
but
in the
into
environment.
No, but from one environment to another environment.
No, it's beyond the environment. It's not in an environment. It
Well,
has
it
been
must be
towed
somewhere.
beyond the environment.
Well, what's out there?
Nothing's out there.
Well, there must be something out
There
there.
is nothing out there. All there is sea and birds and fish.
And?
And 20,000 tonnes of crude oil.
And what else?
And a fire.
And anything else?
And the part of the ship that the front fell off. But there's nothing else out there.
Senator Collins, thanks for
It's a
joining
complete void.
us. Yeah, we're out of
The
time.
environment's perfectly safe. We're out of time?
Yeah.
Can you book me a cab?
But didn't you come in a Commonwealth car?
Yes, I did. But
What happened?
the front fell off.
So I hope you all enjoyed that. If they go back to the slides, it should have my contact information here, I think. Bear with them. Okay. All right, so there's my contact information. If there's anything I can do for y'all, whether it be from the Shipboard Firefighting Station or just typical MDE stuff, my number's there. That's our actually 800 number, but it does have my email address. Feel free to reach out. Anything we can do to help you, we're always glad to do so. And I certainly thank you all for the opportunity. Hope you got a little bit of enjoyment out of the video at the end and maybe just picked up on something from the presentation. But at the end of the day, please be safe. Thank you.
Jeff, you know, it's amazing what you guys do. And every time somebody throws a bigger issue out there, you come up with a way to deal with it. In addition to the amount of training that you do on a regular basis, just to keep up and keep us informed how we can better handle these situations. Absolutely amazing, fantastic. We thank you for a great presentation.
Thank you, Charlie.
Yep.
Much appreciated.
Okay. You want to take it?
Oh, yeah. Of course. You got the glare. They want the glare. We have matching haircuts. Thank you.
Always something very interesting. As we move on, we're going to start off with some of our awards and the various categories. MSFA has many, many, many awards that we take and recognize various people for that do a tremendous amount of work in their companies and ours, and those to benefit the citizens. We'll start off today with the Gladhill-Thompson Award, presented by the Damascus Volunteer Fire Department.
Good morning. This award was originally established by Mr. Bernard D. Buck Gladhill and accepted by the MSFA Executive Committee in 1974. Mr. Gladhill saw the need to honor an individual who has made an outstanding contribution to the future welfare of the MSFA. And the award would be known as the Gladhill Trophy at that time. This award would be considered the highest Maryland State Firefighters Association award that can be conferred on an individual. It would be awarded on a highly selected basis to an individual who, in the opinion of the judges, has made an outstanding contribution to the future welfare of the members of the MSFA, or who has distinguished himself or herself by serving of major significance to the MSFA or the Fire Service of the United States. In 1984, the award was changed to the Gladhill-Thompson Trophy in recognition of both Mr. Buck Gladhill, who was a founding member and a lifelong member of the Damascus Volunteer Fire Department, and Chief Leslie B. Thompson, who was a long-serving chief and leader at the Damascus Volunteer Fire Department. Would last year's recipient of the Gladhill-Thompson Award, Doug Alexander, please come forward and receive your award from Tessie Gladhill, granddaughter of Mr. Buck Gladhill, if you're here. And the winner of the 2026 Gladhill-Thompson Trophy goes to Clarence Chip Joel of the Liberty Town Volunteer Fire Department.
I now call Jeff Clemens, trustee, MSFA, for the Colburn Cup Award.
All right, good morning, everyone. This morning we will bestow upon someone the honor of receiving the Colburn Cup Award. This award recognizes an individual that has performed an outstanding act of heroism. This morning we'll have the rest of the trustees, if Vice Chair Tommy Manley and Trustee Robbie Blackiston can join us on stage. We have Trustee Joel McCrae and Secretary Teresa Collins, as well as representatives from the Princess Anne Volunteer Fire Company who sponsor the award. So before we announce this year's award recipient, we would like to recognize 2 others that were nominated for the award by presenting them with a certificate. These 2 individuals are Deputy Chief Robert Nicholson of the Sothersville Fire Company and Susan Hilton of the Damascus Volunteer Fire Department. If they would please come forward. Okay. I'm going to announce the award recipient, and then as he makes his way to the stage, I will read the incident summary from the nomination letter. This year's winner of the Colburn Cup Award is Assistant Chief Bradley Cooper of the Ridge Volunteer Fire Department. On March 19th, 2025, at 1857 hours, police, fire, and emergency medical service units were dispatched to Bean Family Lane in California, Maryland for a structure fire with a person trapped. Assistant Chief 4, Bradley Cooper, who was in the area in a personal vehicle, arrived on the scene at 1902. It should be noted that Assistant Chief Cooper was outside of his first due area. Upon arrival, Assistant Chief Cooper noted smoke showing from a split foyer residence. He made contact with the son of the trapped victim outside of the residence. The son advised that he was unable to remove his mother. There was an active fire in the kitchen. At 1902 hours, Assistant Chief 4 reported to St. Mary's County Emergency Communications that there was still one person in the residence. Under heavy smoke conditions, Assistant Chief 4 made entry equipped with a fire extinguisher and located the kitchen, extinguishing the visible fire from the stove area. He then proceeded to the next room where the victim was located on the floor, and he removed the victim from the structure. At 1904, Assistant Chief Cooper reported that the victim had been removed and was at the back steps. He reported that the victim required both ALS and BLS medical support. The victim was then turned over to the medical team where they assessed that the victim was suffering from serious injuries, including smoke inhalation. Maryland State Police Aviation was requested and ultimately transported the female victim to Washington Hospital Center for advanced medical support, where she made a full recovery. Additionally, the son required aviation transport to Washington Hospital Center for advanced medical support with smoke inhalation. Assistant Chief Cooper saved this person's life with his quick response to a structure fire because he was in the area of the incident. He regularly responds to incidents outside of his home fire department's district when he is in the area of the call. In the case of this incident, his selfless response and rendering of quick fire and rescue techniques to remove the victim from the burning residence was truly a life-saving moment. Any further delay in responding surely would have resulted in a very different outcome. Congratulations.
At this time, we'll go with the Robert H. Shimer Administrator of the Year Award, presented by past President Bobby Jacobs.
There he is. That's okay. You all right? You can help Mr. Herlock here.
Okay.
I'll give you this. Good morning, everyone. Just a few seconds here with Chief Sager. This year has been extremely robust in the amount of nominees that we received. It was a total of 15. So it was an excellent opportunity to review the many individuals that were nominated for the Robert H. Shimer Award. And I'm going to run down the list real quick of those, and if you are in the hall today, please see me behind the stage afterwards. Michael Farlow of Susan Corm, Kim Lagore, Robert Swain, Bernard Wyville, Rhonda Hinch, Natty Norris, Angela Hummer, Mitchell Vogt, Cy Johnson, Stephen Lanfer, Karen Lola, Philip Cooper Jr., Mark Bilsner, and Robin Shelton Hohen. These individuals were all nominated. Now, along with that, the committee members are all past presidents of the association, and several of them are here today. John Dimmer, Phil Herlock, myself, Tom Mattingly Sr., which I don't believe is with us today, and Roger Steger Sr. So, at this time, I will ask past President Phil Herlock to give an overview of the award and make the announcement.
Morning. At the request of the Shimer family and with the endorsement of the officers of the Maryland State Firefighters Association, an award was established to be presented annually in recognition for the many years of faithful and dedicated service that was provided by past President Robert H. Shimer to the fire, rescue, and emergency services in the state of Maryland. This prestigious award will recognize an individual for their achievements, activities, and administrative positions that they've held within their own community, the county, and the state. The time requirement for this award was not restricted to this past year, but could have been included in their accomplishments of prior years as well. The intention of the award is to honor past President Robert H. Shimer for his 37 years of continuous service to the state of Maryland, for the many different roles and responsibilities he held in his career. This award is a tribute to him for the deserved recognition that he earned as a member of the emergency services in the state of Maryland. His passion for the emergency service is a reflection on every one of us from the past as well as the present, and his presence is sorely missed. Today, to the best of our knowledge, and unfortunately, the Shimer family could not be here. As a result, the committee is pleased to present the Robert H. Shimer Administrator of the Year Award to the family of, and the individual that we're recognized today is Mr. Mitch Vogt from the Jarrettsville Volunteer Fire Company.
Next on our list is the Josiah Hunt EMS Member of the Year Award. Our EMS Committee Chair, Wayne Tome. Members of the EMS Committee will be joining him.
Good morning, everyone, and greetings from the EMS Committee. I'd like to thank President Simpson for allowing me to chair the committee this year. And if anyone knows my background, I have a deep passion for EMS in the fire service. I'd like to thank all our committee members for their work this year. We did a couple things that I'd like to accent. One is I served on the Active Assailant Work Group, and over the last few years, it's opened my eyes to the violence and EMS encounters out here, and we got guidance out to the companies to make decisions on SOPs and their purchase of protective equipment. So we feel really good about that, so that people, when they're going out and buying this expensive equipment, that they have good guidance and making their decisions. The other thing is recruitment and trying to get people back into the system. If anyone was nationally registered in the past, they could come back with just taking a refresher and getting their license or certification back as EMTs and paramedics. And we got that out to the field. And you'll see here in a minute why one person can make a difference in their community just with having a license or certification. The Josiah Hunt Award EMS Person of the Year was established in 1991 and accepted by the Executive Committee. Dr. Hunt was a local physician in Harford County who was very instrumental in the establishment of ambulance service in their area. He often would practice and ride the local ambulance, providing quality emergency medical services to the communities in Harford County and the Upper Pennsylvania area. The original award was donated and sponsored by the Delta Cardiff Volunteer Fire Company of Harford County to honor Dr. Josiah Hunt. The award was established to recognize an outstanding individual in their accomplishments who is an emergency medical technician and above. The award was considered the highest award conferred on an individual within the Maryland Emergency Medical Services community. This year's nominees. Please come forward if you're in the audience. Amanda Arches, Chesapeake City, Cecil County. Tony Lynn Sanger, Odenton. Eric Sipes, Rockville. Kathy Cook, St. Mary's ALS. Donald N. Doc Poist, Jr., Waterwitch EMS. Christina Hurley, Rocky Ridge. Hattie Norris, 7th District. Come on up. Okay, this year's nominee exudes mentorship, abilities, dedication, and zeal in their years of service. Team player, great assessment skills, great awareness, and humility, and a soul of diplomacy. Growing up in a small town in Maryland, you often wear different hats, and you are the key to a lot of lives being saved. This individual worked in healthcare, served our country, and also was one of our two-hatters, which many of us are, worked in a career in EMS as well as volunteer. He did not forget where he came from. Responded to many calls, successful cardiac arrests, resuscitations, who came back to the station to greet the provider, to thank them. Responded, as you do in a community, to people you know and family members, encountering family tragedies. Some that would have left the service after encountering these tragedies, but not this person. Came right back and showed his dedication. He's not one to boast for accolades and awards. However, he responded to 750 out of 900 emergency calls, 500 to 600 calls during times when he was working. After retirement in 2023, he responded and provided care on 923 out of 1,174 calls. You can be assured that his commitment never wavers because he also had heart surgery. And in that year, 8 weeks after providing or having the surgery, he was out providing EMS. In that year, he responded to 803 out of 1,077 calls and continues this trend with the 949 calls out of 1,111 last year and on pace this year to respond to over 1,000 calls. This year's Josiah Hunt Award, I am proudly presenting to my partner in ALS delivery with the Waterwitch Fire Company, Donald N. Doc Poyce Jr.
I want to make sure I kept mine. Our next award will be the Hall of Fame Awards. Charlie Abrecht, Chairman.
Good morning. The inductees to the 2026 Hall of Fame for the MSFA are as follows. Long Green Volunteer Fire Company, MSFA past president Joel McCrae. And as you come up, you can get your hat and your stuff with the team over there, and they'll get you set up. I thought I did. From the Arbutus Volunteer Fire Department, Joe Anazuski, and I probably messed that name up. H. Stephen Price. And he was nominated by past President Carey and past President Steger. From the Damascus Fire Department, Gary Hilton. From the Rockville Volunteer Fire Department, Incorporated, Chief Jim Vagonis. I'm gonna mess that name up. Is that Josiah? Nominated by MSFA past President Carey and Steiger, Charles T. Josiah. Nominated by Doyle E. Cox, past President and Secretary to MSFA, Dale Bowen. From the 2nd District Fire Department and Rescue Squad, Robert Lynch Sr. And nominated by MSFA past President David Keller, Ramona Ridgely. We have one special election to the Hall of Fame, and I'm going to turn this over to President Simpson for his remarks.
Thank you, Chairman Albrecht. Our Special Award Hall of Fame this year goes to an individual who was born and raised in Bel Air, Maryland. He graduated from the University of Maryland School of Medicine and completed residency training in the emergency medical services at the University of Maryland Medical Center. He's a board certified in emergency medicine and emergency medical services. While attending medical school, he concurrently pursued his interest in EMS and his Maryland Emergency Medical Technician certification, and he's been an active volunteer member of the Bel Air Volunteer Fire Company. He was selected as a 2015 EMS Physician of the Year by the Maryland College of Emergency Physicians, and in 2018 was recipient of their award. Emergency medical services programs and clinicians. Most recently, he's been a major advocate of promoting whole blood on Maryland EMS units for the emergency medical services clinicians to better manage the deadly effects from hemorrhagic shock. He continually manages the needs and changes needed to keep the Maryland EMS system the strongest in the nation. Our special award this year is presented to Dr. Timothy Chisbar, Maryland's State EMS Director.
Okay, and I did have one more regular member to be inducted into Hall of Fame, and He is the chief of the United Fire Steam Engine Company in Frederick, Mark McNeil.
Gates? We're doing that, right?
I don't do that. President Bernard.
Yeah.
Your sister still involved? Huh? Your sister still involved?
Careful. As we continue on, our next award, Marbery F. Gates Service Cup, the Rockville Volunteer Fire Department. You've heard it before, you'll hear it again. Don't forget, all these awards are available to any of our volunteer fire and EMS people in your departments in Maryland. Please look these over annually. You've got people out there that could deserve some of what we have. Thank you. Eric. Wait for the president to appear.
Congratulations.
We caught you off guard.
Yeah. You read the names? You are. All the names?
Yeah. No, well, you don't have to. You can do just the winner.
Yeah, no, whatever you wish.
Good morning. The Rockville Volunteer Fire Department, the officers and members, are pleased to award this year's Marbery F. Gates Service Cup Award. This award requires a minimum of 50 years of active service here in Maryland in a volunteer fire department or company. This year's awardee is no stranger to the fire service. I'm going to read the letter from his company. It is their distinguished honor and privilege to nominate this member for this prestigious Marbery F. Gates Service Cup Award through the MSFA in recognition of his over 50 years of remarkable, continuous, and faithful service to the organizations within the association. For over 5 decades, this member has exemplified the highest standards of dedication, leadership, and selfless service that defines the fire and emergency services community. His unwavering commitment to the mission and values of MSFA has left a lasting and meaningful impact on his department, his colleagues, and citizens that he so faithfully has served. Now, before I proceed in the letter of the winner, we have 48 people who have been nominated. Now, it has been the tradition of the MSFA to recognize each person by name for their nomination. So they have given me that list, and I'm going to read all the nominees, and if they are here, if they would please line up in front of the stage so we can recognize them, again, for a minimum of 50 years of service. Our first nominee is Roger Steger. I'm going to read him. Please come forward. Douglas Simpkins Jr., Craig B. Harmon, Jim Zuna, Jim Heckendorn, William Gardner, George Kennett, Benjamin W. Kurtz, David C. Rusty Lefwich, W. Mitchell McVock, Richard K. Brooks III, Chief Michael J. Nevin, James R. Bob Skinner, Randy Smith, C. Dale Perkins, Clarence Ross Jr., Nolan Gallion Sr., Reeves Testerman Sr., James A. Martin Sr., Franklin W. Perkins Jr., Robert M. Worthington, Larry Allen Mabe, Herman N. Schweers Jr., Jimmy Hawkins, Thomas Scott, Franklin Lum, Raymond Stevens Sr., Marion A. Davidson Jr., Marion H. Wareheim, Edward Humphreys III, Robin Sheldon Hahn, Dale Klein Sr., Beverly Jarbo, Tony W. Rose Sr., William Bill Henderson, Joel Pleiperzuk, Harry Trimble, Charles Townsend, Douglas P. Gorge, Delbert H. Meyerly, Fred L. Plunkert, James N. Eckert, Milton S. Zepp, Robert P. Cumberland Jr., past president, James Brown, Charles G. Jerry Dell, Carlton R. Trite, and Donald B. Spangler. Let's please give them all a huge round of applause. That's 2,500 years of service right there to Maryland. Now, sadly, only one of these persons can win the award. If they will all please remain standing as we continue on our nominee that is the award winner. This person's resume is unbelievable. It shows how much time, experience, and steady leadership in countless ways that this member has served, whether serving in operational roles, mentoring young members, supporting life safety initiatives, or participating in community outreach. He has consistently placed service above self. His depth of knowledge, his calm presence, and his institutional memory have been invaluable assets during his service to his department, to his county's association, and to the MSFA and Maryland Fire Chiefs Association. The nominee's friend that nominated him have been friends for over 50 years, and he writes that in over those many years he's learned that beyond the titles this member has held or the positions this member has held, what truly distinguished this member is his character. He embodies integrity, loyalty, humility, and a profound sense of responsibility to the fire service. The nominee's friend is a better member for having known this person. Let me read to you some of their accomplishments. They are a member of their company since February of 1968, joining as a cadet. Actively serving since, including the roles of assistant chief for 7 years, fire chief for 18 years, and board of directors. This member has received the Captain W.B.S. Powell President's Award in 2006, 14, and 15, the Harry J. Cropper Chiefs Award in 2009, the F. Michael Sacco Award in 2011 from his county, chairman of the County Association from September 85 to 86, and then again in 05 and 06. Vice president for numerous years. From the MSFA, the annual fire parade. Awards include inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1996, the Gladhill-Thompson Award in June of 24, 50-year plus service uniform ribbon in February of 24, about 150 committees, serving as the Maryland Fire Chiefs Association, past president and chief, Hall of Fame, Leslie B. Thompson. Unbelievable, and everybody in this room, I'm sure, knows our awardee because he comes from this fine county and from this fine city. The Rockville Volunteer Fire Department is proud to present this year's award to Chief Roger Steger.
I now call on our secretary, Doyle Cox, for the presentation of the 90 Years of Age Award.
No, it's not me. A couple more years. 3. Anyway, good morning. It gives me an honor to recognize these individuals, 90 years of age or greater. Each one of them has got history that you and I will never know, understand. But to proceed on, the president will present a certificate to the individuals. First one, Robert Bobby Dutrow, New Midway, 90 years of age, 70 years of service. If these individuals are in the audience, please come up. He's okay. That's understandable. No, if they can.
They're going to be down front.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to go down or?
Thank you.
Arthur Frutton, Gamblers Community, 92 years of age, 40 years of service. Is there any movement? Sorry, I cannot see. Okay, we'll go to the next one. Donald Lee Howard, Marion Volunteer Fire Company here on the Eastern Shore, 90 years of age, 65 years of service. I know he's in the audience somewhere. Okay. Yeah, I see him coming. Robert Dutrow, New Midway, 90 years of age, 71 years of service. Charles Miller, Capitol Heights, 92 years of age, 76 years of service. Betty Ann Mums, Rocky Ridge Volunteer Fire Company, 90 years of age, 58 years of service. Bernard Weevil, Rocky Ridge, 92 years of age, 53 years of service. And the last one is Helen Burr, Rocky Ridge, 90 years of age, 58 years of service. Is there? No. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the individuals.
Okay, Richard, I'm here. Dude, move it on. Okay. Move it on. Let these places.
Can I have the chair out here? Can I have the chair out here?
No, it's right here. It's right here.
Right behind you.
Okay, the next award is the Edwin L. Emkey Award for Senior, or Edwin Emkey Senior Cadet Award.
Okay. That's all right. I got it. Thank you, sir. We're good. The president's sitting up back there. Is past President Steve Cox still in the audience? Ask Steve to come out while I do this. I take great pleasure in presenting this award today in memory of Ed Emkey from English Council in Baltimore County. I just need you out there for a minute, you'll understand. Ed Emkey for decades was the Sergeant at Arms here at the convention, and he had the job of keeping us all quiet and in order. He was successful in that job, let's say that, because he did good work. He was also the director, or one of the directors, but the primary director of the English Council Junior Fire Department. And that held a special place in all of our hearts, especially in Baltimore County, because at the time I served as an instructor at the academy, and Ed would reel me in every couple of months to come to English Council and do a class for the juniors, or he would bring them out to the fire academy and we would put them through some paces out there. Along came President Cox, who brought to them a fire engine, a Seagrave, if I remember, Seagrave fire engine, and the juniors had their own fire engine courtesy of Steve and Nancy to function on. It was a great time. The movement spread. There were other juniors across the state, and Ed Emkey was very proud of what we told him was the legacy that he would leave behind, and he has. This year we have 3 nominees for the Edwin L. Emkey Senior Cadet Award. Those are the North Beach Volunteer Fire Department Cadet Program, if there's anybody here from North Beach, please come up. We also have the Leonardtown Volunteer Fire Department Cadet Program. And we have the Level Volunteer Fire Company Cadet Program. Come on up, fellas. I think it goes without saying that it's one thing to be in a leadership capacity in the volunteer fire service where you start our young people at 16 or 18 and to corral them and get them through training. It's another effort to take young people at the young age of maybe 6 or 8 or 10 and bring them into the firehouse and teach them the discipline and the training that they need to be in the fire service, hopefully for the rest of their volunteer careers. And that's successful. I point to the gentleman from English Council, right, who was, what year did you join the juniors? 1972. He was a junior at English Council and represents Ed Emkey here today. We also have with us Susan Bollinger. She's the president of the Baltimore County Firefighters Association. And with that, we are going to award this year's trophy of the Edwin L. Emkey Senior Cadet Award to the North Beach Volunteer Fire Department. Thank you all for your support in that award.
put your companies in next year if you have that cadet program, and please try to encourage others to do it as well. Thank you.
The next award to be given is the Oscar Baker Rookie of the Year Award.
Hi, I'm Sue Hubble, President of Mount Airy Volunteer Fire Company. Joining me today to present the C. Oscar Baker Rookie of the Year for 2025 are Matt Hurd, past President, MAVFC, currently serving as my second Vice President. Gary Hubble, past President and past Chief of Mount Airy Volunteer Fire Company, currently on the Board of Directors. Rick Baker, past President of Mount Airy Volunteer Fire Company, past President of Carroll County Volunteer Emergency Services Association, and as of last week, he served his last meeting for the Emergency Services Advisory Council for Carroll County, where we became a combined fire department service. We have Doug Alexander, past President of Carroll County Volunteer Emergency Services Association, past Trustee of MSFA, and Terry Baker, a life member with 33 years of service and serving as a board member. Joining MAVFC in 1941, Oscar was an 81-year member at the time of his passing. 70 of those years were active. He served in his community, county, and state with pride. He served as president of Mount Airy, Carroll County Firemen's Association, and MSFA. Oscar continued to stay active, attending meetings, conventions, serving for years. He called names when we had our Sunday dinners. This year, the committee received 9 nominations for Rookie of the Year. Will the following members or a member of their company please come forward as we call your name? From Mount Airy, Trista Christensen. From Odenton, Ethan Goldberg. From Arbutus, Caleb Hamill. From Church Hill, Cameron Herlock. From Winfield, Mason Pollock. From Ridge, Holton Bickle. Hold on, my paper's stuck together. And from Leonardtown, Madison Trossbach. This is their future. Combined, they have completed the following formal trainings: Firefighter 1, Firefighter 2, Hazardous Materials and Weapons of Mass Destruction, Truck Company Fireground Operations, Vehicle Rescue Technician, NEMS 100, 200, 700, and 800, Incident Command System 300, Incident Command System 400, CPR certification, and Emergency Medical Technician. Thank you all for volunteering your time to your company and your community. The skills, knowledge, and friendships you have gained while training, fundraising, and assisting with administrative activities will serve not only you, but your fire department family and community throughout your life. This year's winner joined the company late in 2024. In addition to the MIFRE training, they have participated in in-house trainings, drills, operational readiness activities, as well as behind-the-scenes activities such as station duties, apparatus check, minor tool maintenance, cleaning, to name a few. This year's recipient has received various in-house awards reflecting a remarkable commitment to the fire service and community. It is with great honor we present the 2025 C. Oscar Baker Rookie of the Year Award to Cameron R. Herlock from Churchill Volunteer Fire Company. My purse is back there.
The next award given out will be the Firefighter of the Year Award.
Everybody? Good? All right. Good morning. It gives us great honor to present this year's Firefighter of the Year Award. We had several nominations, still for over 300 plus departments. The amount that we receive is not that great, so we're going to actually call up everybody that was nominated, and then I'll read just a few little excerpts from the nomination letter, and we'll present the award. Nominated from the Ridge Volunteer Fire Department is Lily Kessner. From Arbutus is Ryan, it looks like Kunai. From Odenton, we have Merle Patel. From New Windsor, we have Nicholas Vogue. From Leonardtown, we have Aiden Wrightson. From United Steam Engine Company, number 3, we have Josh Agandi. From Winford Community Fire Department, we have Christopher Boussard. From Rockville Fire Department, we have James Shank. And from Sutlersville, we have Matthew Skinner. As with any of the awards that are presented here on stage, sometimes it's a very difficult decision for the winner, and this was no different this year. Just to read you a couple of little things from the nomination letter from the award winner. It said in 2015, he was distinguished himself as the department's top responder. The level of dedication is not incidental. It is a result of deliberate, committed, and personal sacrifice. He further strengthens his values to the department and the citizens that we serve. Equally noteworthy is that the firefighters' ability to work seamlessly with the career staff assigned to our station. He maintains strong professionalism relationships with all the career personnel and is regularly part of a 24-hour duty shift, working side by side with the career staff. In that environment, he has proven himself to be dependable, team-oriented, and further integrated into the station's operations. So this year's 2025-26 Firefighter of the Year is Josh Ogandi.
Okay, the next award presented is the Chaplain of the Year Award.
The Chaplain of the Year Award was a brainchild of past President Eric Smothers and wanted to give recognition for those who served behind the scenes. So would last year's recipient, Harry Hetz, please come up? This year's chaplains who are nominated for the award, if you're here, please come up on the stage. From Westminster, Fire Engine and Hose Company Number 1, Chaplain Kevin Dayhoff. From 7th District Volunteer Rescue Squad, Chaplain George Kennett. From Rockville Volunteer Fire Department, Father Valentine Kevaney. From Forestville Volunteer Fire Department, Chaplain Elaine Huttonlock. From La Plata Volunteer Fire Department, Chaplain Joseph L. Gardner, Jr. From the Flintstone Volunteer Fire Company, Chaplain David Kyle. From the Western Enterprise Fire Company, Chaplain Richard W. Bauer. This year's recipient of the Chief Chaplain Emeritus J. Harvey Dixon Award is Chaplain Kevin Dayhoff from Westminster Fire Engine and Hose Company Number 1. work done.
Well, I have a blessing yet.
Yeah, where'd Harry go?
Come this way. To your left. Just be careful.
Okay, next award is the John E. Sonny Memorial Training Award. Sonny Rose, I'm sorry.
Hi, good morning. I'm Bob Rose, representing the Odin Volunteer Fire Company, and also the training committee made this year's selection for the Sonny Rose Memorial Training Award. I would like to mention before I start with that, on your agenda you should see the Russ Strickland Award. That was presented yesterday at the annual meeting of the MFSPQB to Chief Paul Supko of the Carroll County Department of Fire and EMS. This year's award, actually before I say that, I just want to read just a little statement on here on the trophy. These were Sonny's dying words. He stated, "I hope that something that I taught enabled someone to save a life." That was a motto he lived by, and unfortunately he passed away by it as well. Is anyone here from Odenton? We're sponsoring the award, but this year the award comes back to Odenton and will be presented to Lily R. Bridges, and accepting for her will be Patty Kidwell, President of the Odenton Ladies Auxiliary, and we will make a presentation to Lily at a future event at Odenton. Patty? So just a note, the small award that Patty has will be presented to Lily, and her name is already engraved on the large trophy that will be displayed at the station until I see you again next year. I would like to make one more comment in that since the inception of this award, we get very few nominees that the committee can accept that are turned in properly to the right committee and following the rules as stated on the website. So please look out for your members. If they are deserving of award, not only this award but others, please nominate your members for these awards and do so following the rules of the award so that those people can be considered. Thank you.
The next award will be the Fire Service Training Award.
Okay, our first award to be presented today is the Zembauer Fire Service Training Award, which was established in 1976 by Mr. and Mrs. Bruce Zembauer in memory of his late parents, Mr. and Mrs. Cromwell Zembauer of Laval. The Zembauer Fire Service Training Award is based on the average number of formal training hours per active member for fire and rescue training completed in the fiscal year before the award. This award has two different presentations. One will be the returning of the awards from last year's awards winners and plaque presentations to those individuals, and then the presentation of the new awards to the new folks this year. So at this time, last year's winners was the Brunswick Volunteer Ambulance and the Vigilant Hose Company of Frederick County. So if I could have last year's recipients from those two agencies please come forward to get their plaques.
Here's Brunswick.
Yep.
Here's Vigilant.
Okay, good.
Go ahead, I'll give it to you.
Vigilant Hose. Folks from Vigilant Hose, are they here?
Third place.
Yep. Okay, this year's third place award winner goes to United Steam Engine Company 3. If we could have them come forward. Representative from United Steam Engine Company 3. Okay. Our second place runner-up is from Newmarket District Volunteer Fire Department. If we could have a representative come forward for that. Okay. Yep, here we go. That's from Brunswick. Or Newmarket. United, there you go.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. And then who you got left? Okay, you're going to get the pictures. Okay. And now this year's award winners, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and these this year's award winners from the 1 to 99 categories, the Brunswick Volunteer Ambulance Company in Frederick County, and for the 100 and above is the Vigilant Hose Company in Frederick County. Vigilant. Vigilant. Vigilant.
You need
So,
to be in
yeah, you got that.
I put them backstage if you want to go this way and get them. Okay.
Tim is here, right? We're going to do the
Yes,
Brisky. Okay, good.
and he's here.
Yep. Okay, the next award is the Francis L. Brannigan Instructor of the Year Award. This is sponsored by the Maryland Fire Service Professional Qualifications Board in conjunction with the Maryland Fire Rescue Institute. So is Chief Robinson here backstage? Or out front? No. Okay. Typically, Chief Robinson is usually here to present this with us. And we'll move forward, and if he shows up, great. As you know, the EMS fire rescue organizations here in our state are some of the best in the nation. Within these organizations, there exists a group of special individuals who are extremely dedicated and committed. These individuals take great pride in their work and quietly go about their duties, always doing more than is required. Although limited in numbers, these individuals are the hardest working, most dedicated people you will ever find. And more importantly, they are always willing to accept the challenge. These individuals routinely go above and beyond the call of duty, putting forth that extra effort to make their students the best that they can be. However, you'll never see their exploits recognized in the daily newspaper or on the 5 o'clock news. They operate quietly behind the scenes, participating in various activities far and beyond what is required. This year's award winner is one of these individuals that I just described, a member of the state's volunteer EMS Fire Rescue Service. They are also a multidisciplined instructor here at the Fire and Rescue Institute who has logged more than 4,500 instructional hours. In addition to this tremendous accomplishment, as a stellar instructor, this recipient continues to contribute in various other activities, such as being a mentor and test proctor, participating in instructional skills programs, and working as an instructor evaluator. Nonetheless, this individual's successes as an instructor are not just about their diverse experiences or class results, but rather the steps they have taken to prepare themselves and ensure student success by clearly going above and beyond what is expected of our instructors. By fostering an atmosphere conducive to learning, taking extra steps to ensure maximum comprehension of the subject, spending extra time reviewing classwork and working with their students to ensure comprehension and complete learning, this instructor has more than demonstrated their willingness to do the right things. This instructor does not prescribe to the status quo, but rather searches for excellence and achieves what many others have not. Throughout their service, they have continued to earn the respect of their peers, co-workers, and fellow instructors by making a conscious commitment to always place the needs of their students, fellow instructors, and the organization above all else. So it is with great pleasure that this award, Francis L. Brannigan Award, be awarded to Matthew Brisky of the Mount Savage Volunteer Fire Department and a MIFRE instructor in Western Maryland. Matthew is not able to be with us today to receive the award, so we've asked Tim Dayton from the MSFA Executive Board, who represents Western Maryland, to accept this on his behalf. So Tim, could you come up? Okay, our next award to be given out today is the Maryland Fire Rescue Institute Student of the Year Award. And this is presented each year to a student who is a member of the Maryland EMS Fire Rescue Service and has demonstrated academic achievement, professionalism, expertise, and mastery of various subject matter programs. This year's MIFRE Student of the Year recipient is nothing short of special. This nominee stands as a model for the modern fire service professional, embodying the discipline, humility, and technical excellence that the Maryland Fire and Rescue Institute strives to instill in all of their students. Serving at their local volunteer fire company and as a cadet in the county fire and EMS program, this individual quickly distinguished himself, not merely through academic success, but also through a profound and consistent commitment to be the quiet professional. Their journey from having zero fire service experience to becoming a highly proficient and respected member of the class is a testament to an extraordinary work ethic and dedication to place service before self. The individual simply does not strive to meet standards, but rather they actively exceed them as a positive example for their peers, their school, and the Maryland Fire Service at large. This individual's command of the subject matter in various classes is characterized by a level of academic rigor that is as impressive as it is rare. They are exceptionally studious and approach all coursework with exhaustive preparation. They routinely enter the classroom not just as a participant, but as a catalyst for constructive and collective understanding. Their ability to ask insightful questions provides critical clarification for peers, elevating the intellectual standard of the group. This academic discipline is further evidenced by the success in a demanding load of high-level, rigorous courses outside the fire service curriculum, with a proven ability to excel in a diverse and challenging multidisciplinary environment. Their intellectual foundation is seamlessly paired with a natural proficiency in all activities. In every practical evolution, they consistently demonstrate a focused intensity, treating technical skills and exercise with the gravity they deserve. They have navigated the transition into emergency services with remarkable speed, refusing to settle for basic competency, and instead pushing for the mastery in every engine company operation and medical scenario provided. Whether training in a classroom or at a simulated fireground, their technical competence is beyond reproach, reflecting a maturity that treats every training evolution as a real-world event. They've proven they can readily excel when placed in leadership roles, navigating high-stress scenarios, and keeps a collected demeanor that is difficult to teach, but essential for the success in the EMS fire rescue service. Binding these abilities together, this individual has emerged as a humble, soft-spoken leader who serves as a de facto guide for their classmates, leading through competence rather than volume. Their unique life experiences, as well as previous residency overseas, has helped to develop a global perspective and cultural intelligence that is invaluable to the future of the fire service. Beyond their technical and academic successes lies a deeply rooted belief of service that defies their every action. This individual embodies the very spirit of civic stewardship that has stood as the foundation of the Maryland Fire Service. They are a vital conduit between these time-honored traditions and the sophisticated intellectual values of the modern fire service. As both a standout student and a standout citizen, they have become a standard bearer for the entire industry and the epitome of what every firefighter should strive to be, a professional who honors the lineage of our craft by perfecting the future. This individual represents the absolute best of the Maryland Fire and Rescue Institute's mission and stands as an inspiration for the next generation of firefighters. With no further ado, it is my distinct pleasure to award the Maryland Fire and Rescue Institute Student of the Year Award to Serena Weaver from the Snow Hill Volunteer Fire Company and the Worcester County Fire Cadet Program. Serena, come on up. Also, if her instructor, Alexander Bean, is in the audience, please come up also.
The next award is the Family Appreciation Award.
The MSFA Family Appreciation Award recognizes the family of an active volunteer fire or EMS member who consistently sacrifices personal and family time so that the member may serve their community. This award is intended to thank those who quietly support the mission behind the scenes and whose encouragement and understanding allows the member to continue their service. It is a recognition of family support that allows a volunteer member to train, respond, fundraise, and serve. This award recognizes family support, not the number of family members who serve. Our first nomination for the Family Appreciation Award from St. Mary's County was the Cauliflower Family 7th District Volunteer Rescue Squad. I don't see anybody. Our second nomination came from Queen Anne's County, the James R. Bob Skinner family from Sudlersville Volunteer Fire Company. From Frederick County, we have the Wesley Burrier family from Rocky Ridge Volunteer Fire Company. From Cecil County, the Zachary Barr family from Hacks Point Fire Company. From Carroll County, we have the Grayman Roper family from the Westminster Fire Engine and Hose Company No. 1. And our final nomination is the Leopard family from the Westminster Fire Engine and Hose Company No. 1. This year's recipient of the Family Appreciation Award, I'm going to read a few of the excerpts from their letter so that you can understand who all has been a part of this family's award nomination. It is with great honor to nominate the Leopard family of the Westminster Fire Engine and Hose Company No. 1. The Leopard family embodies the very heart of volunteerism, selfless service, teamwork, and dedication to the mission of the community protection and support. First, we have Chief Geoffrey Leopard, a member of the department since January 5th, 2000. He's provided more than 2 decades of dedicated leadership and service. An active and respected member, he leads by example, fostering teamwork and commitment among his peers, and his service extends beyond operational excellence. He is a mentor, motivator, and model of community dedication. His daughter, who is following in his footsteps, Brooke Leopard, is currently in the junior program and striving to learn from the family to become a member when she turns 16 years old. Did Brooke come up? Brooke, if you are here, you can come up. I can't see who's out there. Chief Leopard's wife, EMS Lieutenant Natalie Leopard, joined the department in January of 2021 and quickly became an integral part of our emergency medical services team. Her compassion, professionalism, and reliability have earned her the respect of both her colleagues and the community. Natalie's son, firefighter Dennis Mann, followed soon after, joining on March 3rd, 2021. Dennis brings enthusiasm and dedication to every task, representing the next generation of the family's proud service. Also serving faithfully is Second Vice President Todd Leppert, Jeff's brother. A member since September of 2003, Todd has been a consistent and reliable presence in the department, offering leadership, administrative support, and an enduring commitment to volunteerism. His work behind the scenes ensures the department's smooth operation and success in both service and fundraising. Supporting these active members are Jeff and Todd's parents, William and Michelle Leppert. They are proud parents whose contributions to the Westminster Fire Department are immeasurable. Though neither is an official member, they are unwavering in their support of the department's mission and personnel. Together, they are the backbone of many of our most important fundraising efforts, particularly the annual Big Money Drawing. At every Big Money Drawing, William can be found lending a hand whenever needed, helping to organize, sell raffle tickets, set up tables, and ensure the event runs smoothly. His willingness to step in and assist at a moment's notice reflects his genuine commitment to the department's success and his pride in supporting his family's long-standing legacy of service. Michelle Leppert is an essential part of the department's fundraising and morale efforts. She regularly donates her time and talents to support events by selling raffle tickets, organizing the cake table, and baking delicious treats for volunteers, career staff, and event attendees. Her home-baked goods have become a beloved tradition, symbolizing the warmth, generosity, and unity she brings to every department function. The Leppert family's collective contributions, both from those in uniform and those who support them behind the scenes, represent the true meaning of family involvement in the volunteer fire service. Their dedication spans generations and roles, each family member offering unique gifts that strengthen the department and community alike. Whether responding to emergencies, coordinating events, or creating a welcoming environment at the station, the Lepperts demonstrate the spirit of service that this award celebrates. For their unwavering commitment, teamwork, and continued devotion, the Westminster Fire Department and the greater Westminster community, it is with great pride that we nominate the Leppert family for the Family Appreciation Award. Do you want to give this to Jeff? And then to yeah, I guess and off the podium.
Next gen, right? Okay, the next is the Next Gen Award.
Can I have the Next Generation Committee members come up, please, to the stage? Good morning. The Maryland State Firefighters Association Next Generation Leadership Award recognizes an individual who was nominated by their peers who are helping shape the future of the volunteer fire service through leadership, mentorship, innovation, and service to others. This year, I'm proud to say we had 16 young men and women nominated for the award. And when I call your name, please come up to the stage. From the Bowie Volunteer Fire Department and Rescue Squad, James Begoni. From Citizens Truck Company, Zoe Carnegas. From the Hacks Point Fire Company, Victoria Phillips. From the Harold Harbor Volunteer Fire Department, William Billy Hegdorn and Brady Hegdorn. From the Level Volunteer Fire Company, Clinton Polk. From the North Beach Volunteer Fire Department, Matthew Kaiser. From the Ridge Volunteer Fire Department, Holton Bicknell, Kermit Tillett, and Jonathan Boley. From the 2nd District Volunteer Fire Department and Rescue Squad, Caitlin Volmer. From the Sudlersville Volunteer Fire Company, Matthew Skinner. Volunteer Fire Company No. 1 of Chesapeake City, Zachary Timchula and Kevin Lynch. From the William M. Singerly Steam Fire Engine Hook and Ladder Company, Keegan Winchester. And from the Winfield Community Volunteer Fire Department, Jason Laufer. He's got 3. Of course, it'll be the last one you get to. This year, we are proud to recognize Victoria Phillips of the Hacks Point Fire Company. At just 26 years old, Victoria has already dedicated 8 years of service to the fire service. Throughout that time, she has demonstrated a commitment not only to answering calls and serving her community, but also investing in the people around her. Victoria serves as the chair of her department's mentorship program and leads both company and county recruitment retention efforts. She has worked tirelessly to develop programs that welcome new members, support their success, and encourage them to become the next generation of volunteer firefighters and EMS providers. In addition to her leadership roles, Victoria is an active firefighter, EMS responder, EMS administrator, and a driving force behind fire prevention, mental health and wellness initiatives, fundraising activities, and community events. Her willingness to serve wherever needed throughout Cecil County has made a lasting impact on her department, those she mentors, and beyond. The selection committee noted her exceptional commitment to recruitment, retention, mentorship, and next generation development, qualities that embody the spirit of the award. For her dedication to strengthening the volunteer fire service today while building its future for tomorrow, the Maryland State Firefighters Association proudly presents the 2026 Next Generation Leadership Award to Victoria Phillips.
No, I gotta get my stuff. That's all.
These are all ours.
Yeah.
Okay. Come on, sweetheart.
The next award will be the Silver Spring Award.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. The presidents, officers, delegates, distinguished guests, firefighters, emergency medical personnel, auxiliary, and everyone from their respective fire companies, rescue squads across this great state of Maryland, the Board of Trustees of the 111-year-old Silver Spring Fire Department and its members welcome you to this 134th Maryland State Firefighters Association. My name is Mark Perlman. I'm a member of the Silver Spring Life Safety Committee. I have the honor of addressing this convention recognizing the men and women as firefighters, EMTs, paramedics, IV techs, and auxiliary members who stand tall in our service to the citizens of our great state of Maryland. Before we begin, I have some important news to share. We are proud to announce the addition of a very special name to the Silver Spring Trophy in memoriam, our beloved friend and colleague, Bert Brenner. Bert was much more than a member of our department. He was the heart and soul of our organization. With 66 years of dedicated service to the Silver Spring Volunteer Fire Department, Bert's commitment was profound and inspiring. He served as president, vice president, trustee for most of his years at the Silver Spring Fire Department and displayed unmatched dedication. In 1978, Bert was honored with a life membership, a testament to his tireless service and his impact on our department. Bert's journey with the department reflected his unwavering devotion. His love for the fire service and the community was evident in every action he took. He was a familiar and respected presence at official functions, especially during this annual presentation of the Silver Spring Fire Prevention Award at MSFA and LAMSFA Conference in Ocean City, exemplifying leadership and passion. Bert's influence extended far beyond our station walls. He was a pillar of strength in his community and deeply respected by all those who knew him. His commitment to excellence showed not only in his service to the fire department, but also in his everyday life, whether serving customers or supporting neighbors. Even in later years, Bert remained actively involved, transitioning to the life safety unit, offering his support to neighboring departments. His legacy of service and dedication will continue to inspire generations to come. As a fitting tribute to this incredible life of service and his contributions, we proudly add Bert Brenner's name to the Silver Spring Trophy. We will always cherish memories, the lessons he shared, and the legacy he leaves behind. Though Bert is deeply missed, his spirit will live on in the Silver Spring Volunteer Fire Department. And like Bert's enduring legacy, the Silver Spring Bert Brenner Trophy for Fire Prevention Excellence honors those who came before us, heroes who remember their dedication and service to the fire prevention. The Silver Spring Bert Brenner Trophy is a proud reflection of our department's long-standing commitment to fire prevention and public education, dating back to the late 1940s and continuing through the 50s and 60s. The Silver Spring Volunteer Fire Department had its own fire marshal. In the 1960s, Chief Dave Gratz and Mel Harris became passionate champions for fire prevention and were instrumental in establishing the Silver Spring Fire Prevention Trophy. They firmly believe that fire prevention is the responsibility of every firefighter and community member. This trophy honors the highest achievement in fire prevention as judged by their peers, standing as a symbol of the dedication and excellence we aspire to achieve in every community across our great state. Each year, the Silver Spring Trophy, now named as the Silver Spring Bert Brenner Fire Prevention Trophy, recognizes an outstanding firefighter or a rescue squad member whose efforts in fire prevention deserve individual distinction for that year. We celebrate innovations, dedication, fresh ideas that enhance the fire service, bring respect to their fire company, and honor our state association. This year, we are honored to present this trophy to a man who has been the driving force behind the comprehensive fire prevention and life safety programs for both his company and the community. He expertly leads the planning, execution, and evaluation of all fire prevention initiatives, always ensuring that the safety and well-being of the community come first. His unwavering dedication has significantly strengthened his department's outreach efforts, raising public awareness and improving preparedness throughout the region. His strong commitment to community risk reduction and public education has deepened the bond between the fire company and the citizens they serve with pride. Under his leadership, numerous fire safety programs and educational presentations have been developed and coordinated, reaching community members of all ages. His passion for education, prevention, and active community involvement truly embodies the core mission of fire service. Through his inspiring leadership, the fire company's prevention programs have been elevated and lasting partnerships, positive relationships within the community have been built. It gives us great pleasure to present to this convention the winner of the 2025 Silver Spring Burt Brenner Trophy for Fire Prevention Excellence from Sudlersville, Maryland, Lieutenant Will Darling, Sudlersville Volunteer Fire Company. Special thanks to the Fire Prevention Committee and the Maryland State Fire Marshal, their staff, and its committee for selecting today's fire prevention winner. I hope your fire company can find the effort and the time to submit the department's Fire Prevention Committee or a representative worthy of applying for this prestigious award. Thank you very much for your kind attention this morning. Have a great convention, and let's have some innovative contributions to fire prevention programs in 2026. Thank you. Oh, okay. What?
Can you carry the trophy?
Sure.
There were people that worked with you?
Well, I don't know why they were with the other plaques. Yep. Yeah, well, ask them.
The next is the Scholarships Award.
Good morning. MSFA President Charles Simpson, First Vice President William Faust, Second Vice President Lee Lust, Executive Committee, volunteer members, officers, delegates, and alternatives, and distinguished guests. On stage today, I am flanked by the MSFA Scholarship Committee members who have worked tirelessly to seek funds to support marketing, via fundraising, vendor searches, and our legacy program. They clarified and updated the MSFA webpage and improved the application submission website, as well as designed and produced new scholarship application information trifolds and vendor solicitation cards. I would like to introduce my committee on stage with me today. I have Doug Simpson, Frank Corsanti, Rob Ryan, Barb McCrae. The committee would also like to thank and introduce the following partners: Michelle Williamson from the Charles Riley Fire Arson Investigation Scholarship, Rebecca Gilmore from R. Adams Cali Shock Trauma, Claire Leedy from the Maryland Committee on Trauma. Kathy Nipple was unable to attend today, and the ladies from her committee are downstairs giving their report, and I have been told that their recipient is to report to them as soon as they leave the stage. A special thank you to Amanda McKinney Lacerda for her Lieutenant Legacy donation of $250 in honor of her father, James F. Clemens. On April 15th, 2026, the application period closed. We had 29 applications for review. The committee met on April the 29th to review the applications, and the committee have selected 8 MSFA recipients in the amount of $1,000 each for a total of $8,000. The LA MSFA is giving a $1,000 award. Shock Trauma is giving a $2,500 award. The Maryland Committee on Trauma is giving a $1,500 award, and the Charles Riley recipient will receive $3,000. As I call your name, please come to the stage to accept your award. Member companies, if your recipient is unable to attend, please come to the stage to accept their award. Once on the stage, please remain until all awards are presented. Our first recipient is Griffin Brooks, Sykesville Freedom District Fire Department, Carroll County. Alexander Carlson, Westminster Fire and Engine Hose Company, Carroll County. Nicole Gardner, Middle River Volunteer Fire and Rescue, Baltimore County. Rachel Gordon, Pikesville Volunteer Fire Company, Baltimore County. Maeve Parikh, Maryland City Volunteer Fire Company, Anne Arundel County. Justin Peroth, Eastport Volunteer Fire Company, Anne Arundel Anne Arundel County. Dallin Thomas, Westminster Fire Department, Carroll County. Sai Veda Bayapati, Newmarket Volunteer Fire Company, Frederick County. For the Charles Raleigh Award, Zachary Markakis, Reisterstown Volunteer Fire Company, Baltimore County. LAMSFA, Robert Norbury, Oxford Volunteer Fire Company, Talbot County. Maryland Committee on Maryland Committee on Trauma and Shock Trauma Center, Andrew Vogel, New Windsor Fire Department, Carroll County. Congratulations to all recipients.
Okay, at this time it's the Fire Prevention Awards.
Where's the clicker? Can I have my PowerPoint? There you go. All right, everybody, hello. Let's do this. Ching. There. Will, congratulations if you're still in the room. He did a great presentation and job, and I would like to congratulate him for this year's Silver Spring Award. So this year, the NFPA has announced this year's message, which is Charge into Fire Safety. Safe charging is a superpower. This is an add-on from last year's program. Everyone that entered the fire prevention contest this year will receive the kit for the NFPA, the 500 count kit. It's a $762 valued gift. So we'd like to say thank you to all that entered. From my office, I have to put this out there. So the CRR programs that we've been working with as a priority have, are these 4 important values. Determine with national best practices, we want to make sure that everybody understands what's changing out there. The world of fire prevention is rapidly changing. It's everlasting into life safety and those values. Working with your communities more and more, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make recommendations to support you all. We're not trying to tell you how to do things, but we're trying to give you the operational issues that we see and value that we're going to deal with from NERIS. Having the NERIS data at our fingertips now, it's been unique to watch as the calls come in into the NERIS platform. You can actually start seeing things, and you can actually see where trends are happening. And from the Fire Marshal's office, that's what we're going to try to do for all the departments, working regionally and then with the Metro Chiefs. And supporting you guys with any type of fire prevention and life safety education is utmost on my radar. And then we're going to create a way that helps you all as a dashboard from the Fire Marshal's office so you can see what you all are doing for your community and trends. So in early April, I sent a survey out to all the chiefs and the presidents, and I only received 18 responses back. So please, if you'd like to be a part of the survey, I will send it again. But I can't do anything until I really get the information back from you all. That's why it's really important to be a part of that survey. So that's my email address, and if you have any questions, you can come see me. So to be involved in a lot of different things that we've done, we've created Get Alarm Maryland, which is a great mapping tool that you can see where all the smoke alarms have been installed around the state. And our next CRR weekend is the 17th and 18th of October. So if you are in a regional of the Fire Marshal's office, contact the regions. They're willing, they're very open. They want everybody to be a part of this. We have the smoke alarms to assist. We've given them out, and we just want everybody to be a part of the project. So in May, we conducted our CRR weekend, and Jason talked about it yesterday for the Fire Marshal's report. Fire Marshal Marbery, and what we did is all the departments that entered, we put them in a spinny wheel, and you can blame Susan in the back because I made her spin the wheel, and congratulations goes to, it's not working, there you go, the Mount Savage Volunteer Fire Company, so they too will receive a fire prevention kit from the NFPA. So if you want to be a part of the October event, please reach out to your fire marshal. Now, if you're in the metro region, you can still make sure that you can work with them. If we know that you're doing that, the CRR weekend with smoke alarms, we'll make sure you're involved also. This is weird. I'm trying. It's not working. There you go. Hold on. What happened? So in Mid-Atlantic, Life Safety is September 15th. We've put it up there a couple of times. There's flyers downstairs. They were put in the bags. And then the MSFA's Fire Prevention and Life Safety Educators Program, that's Saturday, April 10th, 2027. That's at MIFRE. We usually are the last weekend of March, but because of the holidays, we had to move into April. So be a part of that. We're in the planning phases. We actually have a program planning at the, I guess in the next couple of weeks. Cindy's going to send out a message. So we're going to go into the awards now, but I'd like to have the girls go ahead and introduce themselves once more, and we have a thank you gift for everybody. So first off, outgoing is Cece Hawkins. For your year of effort, we'd like to say thank you, and here's a check for your hard work and a bouquet of flowers.
Thank you.
Yep, so say anything.
Oh, wow, I'm very short. As Teresa said, I'm Cece Hawkins. I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be Miss Fire Prevention for the past year. It's been an amazing year. I've had a lot of fun. Thank you to all the departments that have reached out and allowed me to come to their events, and I can't wait to be able to still do fire prevention even though I'm not Miss Fire Prevention. Thank you, everyone.
Next up, you want to come first? Caitlin?
Hello, everybody. My name is Caitlin Itzo, and I'm the MSFA Miss Fire Prevention First Runner-Up for this year. I am from Level Volunteer Fire Company, where I am a volunteer EMT. Please, if you see us at all during this week, we have business cards with us, and we are open and willing to come to any of your fire prevention or any events you have at your firehouse. Thank you so much.
Give your flowers. There you go. And our last Miss Fire Prevention. Come on, Justin. You bring it up. You're tall. You're short.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Isabella Price. I am your 2026 to 2027 MSFA Miss Fire Prevention. First, I want to congratulate all the recipients to the awards today and the Fire Prevention Awards that we will be handing out in a few minutes. I'm located in Harford County, where I'm a volunteer firefighter for Falston Volunteer Fire and Ambulance Company. And please, we'll be here till tomorrow for the convention. If anyone sees us around and you would like our business cards to invite us to any events that you guys have, please just ask. I have plenty of business cards to hand out, and it has all of my information on it. Thank you.
All right, if you're in the room, I'd like to call up, we had 23 entries this year. They were judged by the Delaware Fire School and the Fire Department of the District of Columbia. So the 2026 program entrants were Class 1, Region 1 is Sudlersville Volunteer Fire Company. Class 2 was the Baltimore Pike Volunteer Fire Company, Benedict Volunteer Fire Department, United Communities, and Cobb Island. Class 3 was Newburgh Volunteer Rescue Squad and Fire Department, Potomac Heights Volunteer Fire Department and Rescue Squad, Manchester Volunteer Fire Department and Ambassadors Program, Hughesville Volunteer Fire Department and Rescue Squad, and the Leonardtown Volunteer Rescue Squad. Class 4 is the Ridge Volunteer Fire Department, 2nd District Volunteer Fire Department and Rescue Squad, Valley Lee, Junior Fire Company, Manchester Volunteer Fire Department, and the Walkersville Volunteer Fire Company. Region 5 was the Mechanicsville Volunteer Fire Department, the Damascus Volunteer Fire Department, Greenbelt Volunteer Fire Department, Branchville Volunteer Fire Company, the Bay District Volunteer Fire Department, and Winfield Community Volunteer Fire Department Incorporated. In Class 6, with the career departments, we had no entries. In Region 7, which is the County Fire Prevention Committees, the Frederick County, Maryland Volunteer Fire and Rescue Association Fire Prevention Committee, and the Carroll County Volunteer Emergency Services Association's Juniors Program. So I'd like to say congratulations to everybody that took part in those programs. In no particular order, for the 5th place winners are the Walkersville Volunteer Fire Company, United Communities Volunteer Fire Company. You guys can start passing those out to people. Yeah. Winfield Community Volunteer Fire Department, Branchville Volunteer Fire Company, Greenbelt Volunteer Fire Company, Damascus Volunteer Fire Department, and the Carroll County, what did you do? Oh, yeah, Carroll County Volunteer Emergency Services Association. I'm sorry. All right, all the books are down here with the other certificates. It was up and down with all the books, so we just said we'll just keep them down there. If nobody comes, we'll just, yep, that's fine. We know some people might not be here. So 4th place is Hughesville, Leonardtown, Newburgh, and Potomac Heights. Right, there you go. Third place is Frederick County Volunteer Fire Department and Rescue Squad Association, Baltimore Pike Volunteer Fire Company, Benedict Volunteer Fire Department, Junior Fire Company, and Sudlersville Volunteer Fire Company. Second place winners are Mechanicsville, 2nd District Volunteer Fire Department, Rescue Squad, Manchester Volunteer Fire Company, and the Bay District Volunteer Fire Company. And then the first place winners are the Ridge Volunteer Fire Department and the Cobb Island Volunteer Fire Department and Emergency Medical Services. There's a couple of departments I forgot your books because packing between 2 vehicles in a trailer, I kind of left them at home. So I apologize, but their certificates are down there. So if you entered a book, everything is down there. And then Susan's plug. All right. Again, I'd like to say thank you to everybody that took part in fire prevention. If you are interested in being a part of our fire prevention committee, please reach out to me. We are always looking for members. And we want to have and ensure that we have the ability to help everybody out. As I always say, this group works really, really hard every year. And between all the different things that we're doing, this is the one way that we connect to our communities. We must make that change. And the way to make the change is through fire prevention and life safety. So if you have anybody in your department that wants to step forward and be a part of this committee, our next meeting will be in July. It will be online, and an announcement will be made onto the MSFA's website. We're doing it online this time because a lot of people have to travel in July, and we are mandated to have 4 meetings a year around the state. So we just want to make sure that everybody's a part of it. If there's anything that you all ever need to know, need to have issues with, you have problems with, you have any questions, please reach out to the committee and we will help you with whatever you need. Thank you. All right, girls, we're done.
Okay, next, before I get to the next one, I just want to say, on behalf of President Charles Simpson, myself, and Second Vice President Lee Lutz, congratulations to all the nominees and all the winners. And ladies and gentlemen, let's get this a lot bigger next year. We'll work on it with going out and promoting these awards. The young ladies and gentlemen and the departments deserve this opportunity to be seen and recognized for the jobs that they do in your department. At this time, the report of the election judges. I don't dance, so I can't cover for 2 minutes. So. Huh? I can't sing either. I can't carry a tune in a bucket. But again, I do want to thank everybody. I haven't heard how President Simpson's making out. As soon as we do, we will get the word out so everybody knows. He was in good spirits back here. Hopefully we see him tonight at the installation, and we'll go from there. I know. Let me.
Okay. Go ahead. Thank you, Mr. President. The report of the election judges is as follows. There was a total of 348 companies in good standing as recorded by the Secretary. The Credential Committee reports that 230 of those companies in good standing are registered at the convention, and a total of 20 past presidents were also registered. The following officers were unopposed and elected by a single ballot cast by the office of the Secretary: President William Faust, First Vice President Lee Lutz, Second Vice President Wayne Tome, Financial Secretary Mitchell Volk, Chief Chaplain John Long, and Trustee Geoffrey Clemens. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, I'd like to close in prayer, but I'd like to lift up Charlie, if you could please, before we end the session. Let us pray. Oh, Heavenly Father, we come to you for many things, Lord, but we're coming to you to health for Charlie. Let's be with him this afternoon. Let's try to lift him up. Let's lift him up in prayer as we leave here today. And Lord, thank you for the blessings that you've put out to all the members and awards that were given today. And as we break for lunch, let the lunch nourish our bodies in not only soul but spirit. And we pray these in your Heavenly Father's name. Amen.
Okay, at this time I adjourn the session, and a reminder that the installation officers is tonight starting at 6 o'clock. Thank you. This session is closed.